gamble. Tires squeal, hearts race, this leads to scandal. Full throttle, no brakes, chasing that checkered. Drafted lines tighter than a bank teller's ledger. Turn 4 is a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, seal of pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump traps, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump traps, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Slow trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Engine scream, asphalt burns, the grip's a gamble. Tires squeal, hearts race, this leads to scandal. Full throttle, no brakes, chasing that checkered. Drafted lines tighter than a bank teller's ledger. Turn 4 is a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Slow trails curl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint job flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, stealing pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights. Bump trap, slingshot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights.
Woo! Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening from the beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway as the Full Throttle Outlaws Truck Series is about to get ready to go to battle here. The Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League here this evening for the Johnny Johnson Motorsports 200 here from the beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway's Brody Bente out there on the racetrack getting some laps in. This is our qualifying session, so drivers trying to lay down their quickest laps, and right now it is Brody Bente with the quick time here in qualifying. Joe Yakes, Clinton Woodby, Modesty, and now Skylar Berry jumps up inside the top 5 as he jumps into that 5th position. David Trailer, though, quick time will jump to the top of the speed chart. Quick time for the QH Designs number 54 as David Trailer steals the pole position away from Brody Bente. As we do see Nate Cogdell out there on the speedway, see Brendan McNutt out there, the 4800cars.com machine jumps into that 6th position. Matt Hayden slides up into 8th. Steven Luttrell in the 10th spot here in the qualifying session, but it looks like he's going to get knocked outside the top 10 now as Nate Cogdell jumps up into position number 9. We do see Eric Hagdahl out there on the racetrack here looking for a good lap on lap number 2. Trevor McManus, unfortunately, not the best qualifying effort on lap 1, but lap 2 for McManus works his way up and into that 10th position. Brandon Combs out there on the speedway just laid down a pretty decent lap time, but his first lap time a little bit slower. We'll have to wait and see if the second lap builds a little bit more heat, maybe a little bit more grip, and a lot more speed, as we do see that exactly playing out for Eric Hagdahl as Hagdahl jumps to the top of the speed charts. Quick time here on the speedway for the Red Bull number 11 machine. Now we'll have to wait and see if Combs maybe jumps in front of him here in that 28 ride. He can't quite get there, but we do see Keith Prince, another quick time for the Johnny Johnson Motorsports Songs for Sound number 3 machine. He jumps to the top of the speed charts, but he'll quickly get knocked out of that top spot with the HendrickUSA.com number 56 car. That's the 56 of Jack Drucker, who will jump up into the pole position. So quick time now for the 56 of Drucker, as unfortunately it looks like everyone has gotten their 2 laps of qualifying in, all except for the 17 of Bruce Bernard, as my boy Big Pilo in the house. What's good, Pilo? Chris coming in, showing the love here in this one. How are you, Big Pilo? Coming in, showing the love here in this one with the let's go, baby. Let's go, Chris. Good to see you in the comment section. Getting ready to watch some great racing here this evening with the Full Throttle Outlaws, as each and every one of these drivers qualifying is coming to a close, so they will get ready to rumble. They'll get ready to roll out onto the speedway here for our main feature event, the start of what will be a 160 lap battle here this evening. 160 laps of absolute non-stop door-to-door action out there on the speedways. Each and every one of these drivers is going to be looking to try and hopefully put themselves into a winning position here when it comes to the end of this race. So now we will have a stage break at the completion of lap number 30. That is the only stage break we will have here today. In drivers, they have 100% fuel capacity, but they only have 4 sets of tires. Now, you are going to have to save and hope that those tires can hold up nicely for you, especially trying to maybe save a set for late in this race in case if there is a late race caution flag or 2. Maybe puts you into a good position if you have that extra set of tires back behind pit wall that you can come down pit side, put those on, maybe change your fate, maybe race your way a little farther forward or even into a winning position here, trying to have that extra set back there for some late race chaos here this evening. But 160 laps, lap 30 will be at the completion of lap 30 will be the end of our one and only stage break here this evening. So we could see a lot of green flag laps being laid down. We could see these drivers potentially having to do, a few green flag pit stops throughout that final stage. If things stay clean and green out there on the speedway, it could really put a lot of these drivers into that pickle of having to make green flag pit stops. And let me tell you, man, green flag pit stops, man, with any of these trucks, and whenever we we come to Vegas, always very, very exciting. Pit road speeding penalties can come flying at a rapid pace. So if you want to try to keep yourself in it to win it, you want to put yourself into a good position here late in this race, not only being perfect out there on the racetrack, but being perfect down pit side may be the key to success here this evening, as Jack Drucker will start in the pole position. Drucker will start out in front with Keith Prince there to his outside in the Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 3 machine. The Red Bull number 11 of Eric Hegdal will start there in third with David Trailer in position number 4. Starting back in the 5th spot here on the Speedway in the HendrickCars.com number 48, it is Brennan McNutt to his outside, his teammate in the Black Betty Motorsports Super Dirt Car. Hey dudes, number 28, it's Brandon Combs who starts there in 6th. Starting back in 7th in the beautiful QH Designs Raising Canes ride the Bente number 63. It is Brody Bente who will start there in 7th. To his outside, starting in the 8th position, in that beautiful Dodge Ram, the Expeditions machine, it is Joe Yakes who will start there in 8th. Starting back in position number 9 in the Goldberg winning bid 92, it's Clinton Woodby who will start there in 9th. To his outside in the Sinclair Dyno Care number 6 machine, that is Rusty Modesty rounding out our top 10 here this evening. Starting in 11th in the Dr. Pepper QH Designs number 46 ride, it is Skylar Berry to his outside in the Razor Alpine Star number 5 machine of Matt Hayden, starting there in 12th. Starting back in 13th in the 00, it is the Ghost Energy QH Designs 00 of Nate Cogdell. To his outside in the 36, it's the LuttrellRacing.com number 36 is Stephen Luttrell, and then we do see the 01, that is 01 Rooster Rodden. To his outside will be that 69 of Jesse Wise in the Shitty Coolers machine. The 97 of Colton Hardy, the 7 ride of Mr. Harrison Crosby, Brian Cunningham, Bruce Bernard, and the 4 of Jesse Calloway bringing up the rear of the field, unfortunately for Trevor McManus. McManus was supposed to start quite a bit farther forward. Unfortunately for the 59 ride, will have to start down pit side. The rest of the field has already seen that green flag flying. They are building up that speed, rolling down through corner number 1 and 2 and down the back straightaway. As Drucker jumps up in front of Eric Hegdal here. Hegdal gonna work his way back down to the inside. Hegdal wants to battle for the early race lead as Keith Prince continues to slide back. Already falling into that 5th position, but out in front, Jack Drucker will lead lap number 1 as we see our first caution flag of the day. Harrison Crosby going to run into some issues. This is the Johnny Johnson Motorsports Sus Coffee number 7 ride. Crosby runs into some issues down through corner number 3 and 4. Let's take a look back at it. See what happens here as he's rolling down into corner number 3. Just behind the 69 ride, unfortunately, kind of loses the rear end there. Goes for a bit of a slide, tries to correct it. Unfortunately, as the car kind of gets settled back in, it's an overcorrection, and it snap hooks up into the outside fence. Pretty solid damage here for the 7 machine early on this afternoon. I thought I said sus, but maybe it's SNS Coffee? SNS Coffee? The 7 riders. Here we go. There he is, sliding over. Corrects right there as the car just kind of snaps back around on him, and unfortunately, it sends it into corner number 3 here pretty far. Kind of gets off the throttle. The rear end steps out on him, and as it kind of regains that grip, and unfortunately just, man, we see that happen so often, so many times where these cars will just snap hook around on you. And luckily enough for Trevor McManus, not only does he get to re-catch up to the field right here, but my gosh, this was probably a whole lot closer than I think he was expecting, as he sees the 7, tries to get down low underneath of him, but ended up being a lot closer than I think he was expecting. I mean, that was really, really close. If Harrison would have came down another 2-3 feet right there, could have hooked him in that right rear, could have sent him up into the outside fence, or could have killed that whole front right of the number 59 ride. Luckily enough, no contact, and he's able to rejoin the rear of the field and get rolling out there on the racetrack here in battle with these drivers, as he'll be looking to try to make up some ground from where he was supposed to start this race. Unfortunately, missed the staging period of the feature event and had to start down pit side. Trevor McManus right there in that 21st position. You see Harrison Crosby's gotten that truck fixed up. He's back out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, I think for that 7 ride, probably early on here this evening, at least on lap number 1, having to burn that quick repair already for that 7 is going to put him into a fairly difficult position, because now he's got to be racing on eggshells all night long. One more big hit, one more big issue like we just saw for the 7 ride could have him parked down pit side here for an extended period of time, trying to get that truck repaired, trying to get it back into good, solid working condition where he can continue racing here this evening. So he's going to have to do an immaculate job to keep all the fenders on it, to keep the tires pointed the right direction, and try to make sure that he can salvage something out of this race and not destroy this truck too early and take himself out of it here before that checkered flag is thrown. So we'll keep a close eye there on Harrison Crosby's. We'll get everyone lined up and ready to roll, ready to rumble once again as our first restart of the day, as the 56, Jack Drucker, will look for another big restart. Hope that he can get a good launch and try to keep a lot of these drivers still back there behind him. But Eric Hegdal was definitely making him work for it there on lap number 1. And now for Drucker, I think the big thing that's going to be helping him on this restart is he will have a teammate in Brennan McNutt on his back bumper. So the 2 Hendrick cars will be able to try to work together here this evening. Hope that they can, time these restarts perfectly and kind of push each other to, maybe leapfrogging and getting in front of the rest of these drivers on these restarts. So we'll see potentially his 56 get a big shove, a big run, and will clear Eric Hegdal and try to open up a bit of a lead down and through corner 1 and 2 here on this restart as the pace truck makes that hard left-hand turn back down pit side, and here we go, rolling once again from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. There we go. That was a huge launch right there for the 56, and now that puts Eric Hegdal into a difficult position, because you'll see Brandon McNutt was able to time that restart nicely as well, being in behind and probably getting a countdown from his teammate in the Discord, and able to get a big enough launch and a big enough run that not only himself but our 5th place driver, 3rd car in line on that inside groove, is able to work his way forward as well. The 3 rider, Keith Prince, all of a sudden finds himself into position number 3 again on the Speedway, but he still has some tough competition to his back bumper. But we do see the caution flag coming right back out. Alrighty, it may be one of those days, as we'll take a look here, see what happens to Jesse Calloway's. This time looks like the 32 of Brian Cunningham going to run into some problems here. So Cunningham down into corner number 3. Gets in there, maybe gets a little bit loose, hits the apron, washes up the racetrack, just kind of clips that left rear of the 4 ride. And unfortunately for, Jesse Calloway, I mean, really nowhere for him to go here. He's trying to make the move on the outside, trying to complete the pass, and unfortunately, as the 32 comes up and into him there, he's just kind of hanging on for the ride. And unfortunately, you will see this time the 59 of McManus is going to get a little contact, a little damage into that one, as tough break right there for him. And yes, we will get that taker up. Thank you for pointing that out for me. It's always good to have that taker up here, as we'll get that rolling in just a second. But unfortunately there, that was some pretty solid contact to the back bumper of the Pabst Blue Ribbon number 4 ride. Pretty solid contact to the front end of that number 59 as well. So we will see Jesse Calloway hit pit road. Looks like McManus is going to stay out. Let's see if we can get a look here at the front end of this race truck. I mean, iRacing may have did him nicely here, it looks like. I mean, really no damage do that 59 ride, which is quite surprising considering how much rear end damage the 4-car of Jesse Calloway had gotten out of that ordeal, out of that contact. Now, he's used a quick repair up, has gotten that damage fixed, and is rolling back out onto the racetrack, but luckily enough, that did not create a lot of damage and a lot of heartache here this evening for the 59 ride. As it's your boy says it might be a few hours, ladies and gentlemen. It may be a bit of a longer one here tonight. Obviously kicking off already with a couple early caution flags. I mean, you hope the drivers kind of get their feet underneath of them, maybe get a little bit more calm, maybe a little bit more, collected here in trying to minimize those mistakes, not wanting to bring out too many yellow flags too quickly here this evening. So I think for a lot of these drivers, I mean, I'm sure the admins are probably going through right now and saying, hey guys, let's clean it up, let's get some laps in. It's early, we got a lot of racing left to go here, and we still have another caution flag virtually going to fly 23 laps from now for our stage break. As you do see the 59, Trevor McManus, he's going to go to the rear of the field here. I'm not too sure why McManus is going to the back of the pack, but nonetheless, looks like he will fall to the rear, maybe just wanting to make sure he eliminates any cautious, anything maybe that could prove him as a party of that caution flag right there. They could have said maybe the 4 round was going to save it. He got into the back end of him, which may have been somewhat of the cause to it, which I don't think he would have had any fault in it. But obviously for the 59 ride, maybe just trying to clear himself. Didn't really give up too many positions there. Only kind of fell back probably 2 spots for this restart. So going to the back of the pack here in this one as Don, what's good, Don says, where's Crosby? Crosby, he is currently rolling in position number 19 on the Speedway. There is that beautiful CNC Coffee Firehouse Subs number 7 ride. Harrison Crosby currently right now looking to try to keep on moving forward. Unfortunately, did run into some issues, did run into some problems there on our opening lap, got loose, got sideways, got up into the outside fence, got some damage that brought out our first caution flag of the day. He'll look to try to rebound, try to keep that truck out of carnage, and try to work his way towards the front of the field. As here we go, back to green flag racing as it's your boy says, how much do you charge? It all depends. It all depends on how long each broadcast is going to be. I usually generalize it towards somewhere around that, $30, $35, somewhere in there, depending on how long a series is and how long each broadcast is going to be estimated at. It's kind of roughly where I'm at. I'm a lot cheaper, I'm assuming, than a lot of these other broadcasters, but I probably should raise my rates. I probably won't, at least for any of the existing series, but for new ones, maybe a little bit more than that, maybe closer to that $40 kind of area for, that hour and a half, 2 hour kind of long broadcast. As we do see the caution flag come right back out, as we talked about being one of those days. I think it is starting to shape up like one of those races here. Basically 3 starts, 3 caution flags on the opening laps. Let's take a look back, see what happens here in this one, as I believe we're going to see Brody Bente and Skylar Berry run into some issues here. So Bente is just in front of Berry, heading into corner number 3. You can see Barry all over the back bumper here, down the back straightaway on Bente's back bumper here, pushing him down into corner number 3. Bente shoots it into the corner, and then you see him just kind of get loose right there. Yep, exactly what happens, what we've seen already here a couple times this afternoon. Rear end just kind of starts to step out on that 63 ride. He shoots down the racetrack. Unfortunately, hard contact into the 28. It looks like the 6 of Modesty may have gotten some damage out of that as well, but unfortunately here for Skylar Berry, he kind of gets the worst end of it, following right in behind that 63 ride, sees him sideways, tries to jump up to the outside to get around him right here. Unfortunately, as he kind of bounces off the 28, back up into the lap of the 46, it shoots Barry hard, a contact up into the outside fence. Really big hit there for him. The 63 then sideways locks it down here, and that's where we see our caution flag fly for the third time here this evening in our opening 10 laps of racing action. So another quick caution flag here this evening to unfortunately, really make things that much more crazy here. And on that restart, Brendan McNutt was able to just get in front of Jack Drucker by the time of that caution flag. So Brendan McNutt is now scored as the race leader. Jack Drucker scored back in position number 2. Unfortunately, now you do see Brody Bente back there deeper in the field. Maybe still some damage here on that 63 ride. Skylar Berry, unfortunately, he has towed this car down pit road here. You can see the damage that is on the Dr. Pepper QH Designs number 46 ride, and it looks like he did not use the quick repair early on here this evening. So if you're the 46, you gotta hope that the tow or the repair here does not take too long and that he can rejoin this race rather quickly. And by the number of caution flags we've seen early on this evening, there was definitely a possibility that he could get 3 or 4 waiver rounds, a lot of laps back to try to get him back into the lead lap here this evening. But a heartbreaker early on, not a fun spot to be after only running 9 laps of racing action for Skylar Berry to be parked down pit road here for an extended period of time and losing laps as these drivers continue to roll out there on the speedway. As it's your boy says, okay, thanks, I'm trying to start a league, been looking for broadcasters and commentators. Let's go, baby. Well, hey, I'm the best of both worlds right there. There is no 2 separate entities. We do both of those here on Peacemaker Gaming. I am the broadcaster, I am the commentator, I do all of it up here in the broadcast booth as a one-man show, and just putting together the best quality, the best racing, the best fun that anyone can have here on iRacing, and bringing it to all of the fans in the stands as we get them all stacked up and ready to roll. Once again, the pink truck will make another hard left-hand turn back down pit side. Let's try it all over again as Brendan McNutt, Jack Drucker will lead us down through the Echo Park restart zone, and here we go back to battle from Sin City as Brendan McNutt door to door here with Jack Drucker. They battle side by side for that race lead. Tight racing down through corner 1 and 2 as they'll be door to door at a corner number 2. And now all of a sudden, here comes that number 92 of Clinton Woodby, the 3 of Keith Prince, trying to poke their nose right into the battle. The 92 even looked to the outside right there, thought about trying to take it 3 wide, but falls back in line behind that number 56 of Jack Drucker. That will give Drucker the little bit of an advantage there with the outside groove, and the extra shove from the 92 to clear the 48, put that 56 back out in front, and now for Clinton Woodby jumps up solidly into that second spot on the speedway. You see David Traylor trying to work his way right on through there. Here comes Eric Hagdell trying to work his way back towards the front of the pack here. Same with that 3 ride of Keith Prince. Man, these guys just putting together a absolute epic show for us here early on this evening. These guys definitely battling hard out there on the speedway, and finally we start to see some green flag laps being laid down. A few consecutive good laps out there on the racetrack. No quick caution flags here, at least as of yet, knock on wood, for these drivers. So it looks like maybe they kind of got things a little bit more figured out as the sun starts to set here over the desert in Nevada, and we start to see the lights turn on here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. These drivers are going to start to see their trucks change a ton. For I think a lot of these drivers, they may have had their trucks set up for running more than likely here under the lights. So we could see a few drivers really start to come to life, see their trucks really start to take off, start to perform a whole lot better as the sun has set and these drivers are seeing this track gonna cool off. A lot of the grip levels gonna pick up, so a lot of that slipping and sliding around may start to slide away from us here and see a lot more traction for these drivers as Clinton Woodby still trying to take the race lead away from Drucker here. Gets a little bit of a shove, a helping hand down the front straightaway right there is David Traylor trying to get the 92 ride maybe out in front. Drucker, though, going to continue to battle hard on that outside lane, and it looks like down the back straightaway he will be able to clear that 92 of Clinton Woodby. But Woodby not going to give up easily here. He's going to try to send it in there deep down through corner number 3 and 4, but Drucker able to keep his foot to the floor, able to hold that line and keep himself out in front as these drivers putting together a heck of a drive out there on the Speedway, man. These guys putting together a amazing run, an amazing race here this evening as each and every one of these drivers, man, they're having a lot of fun. They're putting together a great race, some great racing here this evening, and a lot of fun for each and every one of these drivers, and that is the key to this racing, to the series. Just having a good time, enjoying your time out there on the Speedway, whether it's, having a high or a low out there on the racetrack, you're having a good race or a bad race. It's all about having some fun, and that's exactly what these drivers are doing, man. The door-to-door action, the passes, the battling here, lap after lap after lap. That's exactly what these drivers want. They don't want to see a race or a track that kind of goes single file and you just roll around. They want to be able to, have this race be competitive, to be door-to-door, and have each and every one of these drivers parked right on top of one another out there on the speedways. Jack Drucker out in front continues to lead the charge here as we're only 11 laps away from seeing our first stage come to a close. Clinton Woodby, though, he wants those points. He wants to be able to get the bonus point for the playoffs that comes along with it. And here he comes, mounting another challenge to the inside of the 56 machine of Jack Drucker. Drucker with the outside momentum, though, down and out at corner number 4, is able to carry enough momentum to keep himself out in front and hold the 92 of Clinton Woodby back there at bay. So Woodby, just unfortunately not enough here. He's had a couple looks, he's had a couple chances. Unfortunately, he has just not been able to clear or complete the pass on that number 56 of Jack Drucker, and now it's opened himself up to potentially having other drivers like David Trailer. Maybe that 48 right of Brandon McNutt, who's all over Trailer's back bumper. Look out! There goes the 54 of David Trailer. Oh, brother, big hit right there for the QH Designs. Johnny Johnson Motorsports, number 54 machine, as contact made between Brandon McNutt and David Trailer. We saw that one coming, and unfortunately just tight racing there down at a corner number 4. Trailer gets hooked, goes around, it ends up into the outside fence. Early damage here for the 54 ride, and that is going to bring us right close to where we're going to have a bit of a shootout here to finish our first stage of the day off. Well, let's take a look back at it here. Is obviously tight racing. As Brandon McNutt trying to battle his way back up towards the front here. He wants to jump back out front. He wants to have this race lead. Unfortunately here, just gets too good of a run. Gets right to that left rear quarter panel towards that inside bumper of that 54 ride and just kind of leans on it and just slightly hooks him right there. And as you can see, the hands of this number 54 ride, as that contact's made, this thing is going to get absolutely slideways on him here. There he goes. You see the wheels starting to move. He's trying to get it pointed back in the right direction. It looks like for right here, he's going to save it. Unfortunately, the 48 ride still carries so much speed and momentum. The 54 having to roll out of the throttle and coming back up the racetrack, kind of hooks him again. This time, though, not down the racetrack, up the racetrack. Nothing that Trailer could do. Up into the outside fence. Big hit there for that number 54. Let's go back a little farther here. Let's see if we can jump on board with David Trailer. See what he can see from the cockpit here of this 54 ride, and really how much wheel he was putting in to this race truck. As here we go at a corner 4. There's the contact. There's the save. Unfortunately, the rest is history, and the 54 will be down pit side looking to get extensive repairs done to his QH Designs machine here this evening. And unfortunately, I believe Brandon McNutt may get an EOL for that one. He may go to the rear of the field. Obviously kind of at fault for that contact there. Hard contact into the left rear of that number 54 to kind of get that party started. Back into him to officially take him around and help bring that caution flag up. So we'll see if the 48 ride does fall the rear of the field for the contact, or if he will keep his third position on the speedway and try to set himself up to help his teammate Jack Drucker stay out in front here for this restart. As each and every one of these drivers ready to get back after it, ready to get back to battle here this evening, as each and every one of these drivers, they're going to get ready to go back at it, man. This is going to be a lot of fun because These restarts have been crazy. They have been wild. There has been a ton of chaos here, lap after lap after lap. And for each and every one of these drivers, obviously, they know that time is running out. Their laps have gotten down to a very minimal here for the end of this stage. So it looks like as the lights are turned off, the official iRacing pace truck, we are only going to have 6 laps left in stage number 1. So it's a 6-lap shootout, biting more caution flags here this evening as the Real Experience says, CJ, contact me. Trying to contact you for what? That is the big question. For trying to get him to get you as the broadcaster? Yeah. It's kind of self-promotion in my own broadcast here. That's pretty wild right there. That is definitely not how you conduct business there, the All Experience. As Jack Drucker, though, out in front, we'll get ready to rumble here again. Is Laura Stacy? What's good, Laura? Laura coming in, showing the love. Says, go Hayden, number 5. Cheering on Matt 8 out there on the Speedway. Man, Hayden, he's worked his way up a few positions here. He's been kind of mired back there, mid-pack, sitting in that 8th position right now. And now with another big restart, definitely, within his grab for a solid top 5 run here in stage number 1. But we'll see if he can make some big moves and try to work that Razor 5 ride up a few more spots here. As here we go back to green flag racing again. Drucker with the control on the restart. Gets a great launch down through that Echo Park restart zone. Opens up a couple truck length lead down through quarter 1 and 2. And now sees his teammate Brian McNutt battling door to door here with Clinton Woodby for position number 2. Now that's exactly what Drucker wants to see. He wants to see them continue to stay side by side, battle, slice and dice, and duke it out here for that second spot on the Speedway, because not only does he not want Clinton Woodby to chase him down, but now he's got his own teammate, Brendan McNutt, trying to chase him down as well. McNutt right there, rolling to his back bumper. Woodby now looking to the inside, though, of that 48 ride, and this is what the 56 wants to see. He wants to continue to see these two stay door to door, continue to see them scrub off speed from one another that could slow them down that extra tenth, half a tenth out there on the Speedway, and allow Drucker to open up a couple truck lengths where he can get that bit of an advantage, enough of an advantage that he may be able to hold on to this race lead to the end of this stage, as the 56 will click off lap number 26 here. It's 4 laps left to go in stage number 1 as Brandon McNutt, Clinton Woodby still door to door for position number 2 on the Speedway. Keith Prince and his Johnny Johnson Motorsports Songs for Sound number 3 machine rolls there in position number 4. Eric Hegdel there in 5th, as we do see Stephen Luttrell, Jesse Wise working his way up through the field here. The Shitty Coolers ride. Oh, look out, contact! Oh, big wreck on the front straightaway. Hayden Combs. Oh, man, big hits here. Modesty gets a big piece of it. Jesse Wise tore up caution flag. Will come back out in that one. Will end our stage. So stage number 1 will officially come to a close as Jack Drucker will win our stage. Clinton Woodby will come home in 2nd. Brendan McNutt, Keith Prince, our top 4. Eric Hengel there in 5th. Stephen Luttrell back in 6th. Nate Cogdell will jump up into 7th with Colton Hardy, Trevor McManus, and Rooster Rodden in the 0-1 in the Lost Society machine, rounding out our top 10 here in the first stage of the day. But let's take a look back at it as, again, just tight racing down and out of quarter number 4. And unfortunately here, we talked about Matt Hayden and how Hayden was going to try to make some moves. Unfortunately, he wasn't really making the move right here. I think we're going to see the 69 ride get a big run down and out of corner number 2 right here. Gets underneath of Matt Hayden. Yeah, you see him back here, corner 1 and 2. Able to kind of get a good run out of 2. Takes it down to the inside. They're now 3 wide into corner number 3 as the Shitty Coolers Toyota tries to work his way around Modesty and Matt Hayden. And then all of a sudden, down and out of corner number 4. I'm not sure if the 69 moves up or if we see Matt Hayden kind of move down. A little bit of both potentially right there. Unfortunately, they get tight together. iRacing kind of does the rest there as they kind of just get hooked right there down and out of corner number 4. And as they make that slight contact, both cars kind of get glued to one another and it just loops the shitty coolers right around here and unfortunately right into the lap of Rusty Modesty. You do see Nate Cogdell get some pretty solid damage into that. Same with the number 59 of Trevor McManus. Get some pretty solid contact into that 28 machine of Brandon Gomes, but you see all these drivers roll up, make hard contact into the outside fence. Pretty solid damage here for pretty much everybody involved. I don't think any of these cars are going to have a straight fender left on them here, as that was a couple really big hits for Modesty. Jesse Wise, Callaway just able to squeeze through there. Combs, though, does end up getting some really big damage. You even see the 7 ride here of Harrison Crosby kind of trying to work his way through it. Unfortunately, tries to shoot from the middle, and at the same time as he shoots the middle, the 6 ride comes down off the outside fence into his lap. Big, solid front-end damage there for that SNS coffee ride here this evening. Heartbreaker there for the 7 of Harrison Crosby, and unfortunately, that will set him back here this evening just a little bit more, as that'll take pretty much all those drivers down pit side, but it'll also take the entire field down pit road. Stage kind of comes to a close. Everyone makes a stop except for Joe Yakes. Yakes is going to stay out here, so for the Expedition number 87 ride, he's going to stay out. So it's going to be interesting to see. Does he continue to stay out? Is this just part of the strategy? Maybe try to save a little tire here, try to set himself up nicely for later in this race, having an extra sit back there behind pit wall, or maybe just expecting to maybe see another couple quick caution flags where maybe he can get that edge here on maybe a few green flag laps, letting everyone else kind of burn their tires up here on a restart or two. And if he can keep this track position, that it could work out into his favor. But unfortunately for our stage 1 winner, Jack Drucker, coming out of the pits here, he will be back in position number 4 for this restart. Keith Prince and Nate Cogdell both able to get out in front of him, as Woodby's back in 5th. Eric Hengdel's there in 6th. Stephen Luttrell, Brennan McNutt there in 7th and 8th. Then we do see Jesse Callaway and the 0-1 of Rooster Rodden right there in the fight, as each and every one of these drivers ready to rock and roll, ready to keep on battling here in this one, as it's your boy. Yeah, let me see if I can snag my Discord here real quick for you. Oh gosh, wrong button. There we go. It's your boy. You can shoot me a message there. Jump into the Discord. You should be able to find me somewhere in there. Probably the last comment or two or last message or two for videos. But you can shoot me a message there, direct message, or shoot a comment there in the general chat or any one of those chats as well. As here we go back to green flag racing, as Joe Yakes, our new race leader, gets a great launch down through that Echo Park restart zone. Exactly what he was looking for. And now he's hoping to see maybe a little chaos start to be brewing back here behind him, as Drucker up the racetrack here trying to work his way around Keith Prince. There'll be 3 wide, tight down at a corner number 2 on the Speedways. Now here comes Brendan McNutt. Here comes that 92 of Clinton Woodby. They're trying to race their way to the front, and it looks like Woodby down low, able to squeeze his way underneath of Nate Cogdell. Cogdell now has Drucker to his outside. He kind of gets split down and out of corner number 4, and unfortunately, he slides back a couple spots there on the racetrack. As now Drucker door to door once again with Clinton Woodby. They're both trying to chase down this 87 of Joe Yakes, knowing that they want to work their way out in front. They want the top spot, but look at the movement back there behind them. They may be running at a time. There could be a caution brewing. A lot of movement from this field. Everyone kind of moving around, bouncing around out there on the racetrack, and somehow or another they were able to keep it pointed in the right direction. A little 4 wide action right there. Tight call between Jesse Callaway Callaway in that Ride the Dente 63 of Brody Bente, as he almost got turned right there by the 4 Ride. Luckily enough, Jesse was able to roll out of the throttle, avoid contact. They keep it pointed in the right direction and keep on battling. Unfortunately, we do see Brandon Combs back here a little deeper in the field here. Oh, man, that's a tough break for that 28 ride, as It's Your Boy says, dude, I've seen people charge like $300 a season. 35 is steel. Well, I mean, 35 is per race. So, I mean, all depends on how many races your season is, right? That's the big thing right there. But I've definitely seen a lot of broadcasters upwards of, 70, 80, maybe even over $100 for some. Some of them are probably definitely worth it. They come with a whole crew. They have 3 or 4 guys up in the booth. Sometimes they're not as good as even what I can do, but I don't want to stroke my own ego. We don't like doing that here, but sometimes, yeah, it's something that you got to kind of get a feel for. You got to kind of bounce around, look at some of those other guys. But, yeah, definitely a lot of different, series and a lot of different things. It basically breaks down to, how long each race is, how long the season is, and everything else. And, unfortunately, here in this one, another caution flag, man. A few more tore-up race trucks. And unfortunately, the caution flag will come back out, and that may have been exactly what Joe Yanks was looking for. Still holding on to that 3rd position. Drucker was able to get around him. So wasn't Clinton Woodby, but unfortunately here for Brendan McNutt, Colton Hardy, Rooster Rodham, Bruce Bernard, all going to get some pretty solid damage here in this one. Let's take a look at it, as looks like Joe may have kind of caused this one here. Night racing down into corner number 1 right there, and there's just that slight bit of contact to the left rear quarter panel of that Ally HendrickCars.com number 48 rival. Let's take a look at it here. Does McNutt kind of come down, try to, pinch off the 87 here and take that lane away from him? I don't know. Tough call right there, and honestly, it looks like more of net code kind of coming into play right there. That's really, really tight. I think there was probably going to be contact either way. Honestly, 48, maybe expecting the 87 to be a little bit tighter to the white line on corner entry, was a little bit higher up in the groove. I'm sure McNutt probably just did not think that was going to be the case there. Unfortunately, there was contact made, and now for McNutt, he's trying to hang on to it, trying to keep this thing pointing in the right direction. Unfortunately, for Rooster Rodden rolling more of that middle groove, tries to avoid him here, and I think McNutt knows that there's traffic coming, that there's a few drivers that may be, close to running over him here on the racetrack. He tries to move up the speedway to get out of their way. Unfortunately, as he does move up, kind of just gets himself right in the way, and that's where Rooster Rodden, Jesse Callaway, nowhere to go for those two as they slide into it. Pretty solid contact there, obviously for the 0-1, not only into the 48, but also into the 4 ride, and then you see Callaway as he comes down the racetrack, trying to keep himself from more contact and more damage here with the 48 and the 0-1. Shoots down the speedway, an innocent bystander there in that Florida Gator 17 machine. Bruce Bernard gets clipped, goes around, makes significant contact here as well with that outside fence. Big hit there for him. Big hit for Jesse Callaway. Lots of damage there for him. And I do believe you will see Colton Hardy also get some pretty solid damage out of this. Now, I don't know if he gets into the 0-1 Rooster Run or the 48 Ryan, but definitely gets a big piece of this outside fence as he sees it happening. Unfortunately, they're parked right in front of him, and there it is. He does get into the fence, makes slight contact there with the 0-1. Not really heavy front-end damage from the contact from car to car, but that contact into the outside fence could definitely tow out or in that right front suspension, and probably definitely has a little bit of wheel damage there on that 97 ride. So heartbreaker there for all those drivers, and obviously another quick caution flag, and it looks like Joe Yanks is going to stick with it. The only driver here this evening that has not hit pit road. So I think for this number 87, he is trying to, put himself into a good position here as It's Your Boy says, oh, okay, and says, I don't like a bunch of commentators, 2 max, but 1 is perfect for me. Yeah, exactly. It all depends on what you like, what you prefer, and obviously, I've always been one just to be up here doing it myself. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of talking. But, we take little breaks here and there with the Crank It Ups and, little in-race interviews here and there as well. That can be worked into the deal and, stage breaks, commercials, all that stuff all comes along with it as well, just like any other broadcast that you can get in there and view and have your viewers see your sponsors and everything else throughout these races and be able to see, what they're about, what they're doing, and, what they kind of, are trying to sell or promote here throughout their sponsorship of the series. So, shoot me a message there on Discord. We'll try to work out a date. I don't know if you have a day that you're trying to work with. Normally, I like to try to keep league races to a certain day, Mondays, every Monday kind of deal, or every Tuesday or Thursday. So we'll have to try to work out a day that, I have open and that, isn't currently spoken for. And we'll try to figure that out and get you onto the schedule, man. Would love to have it. Always loving to get new leagues and more amazing drivers here into the streams, into the fun here on Peacemaker Gaming. As here we go. Back to battle once again here in Sin City. Already here tonight, man, it has been a crazy one, man. There has been a lot of carnage, a lot of tore up race trucks, and we're only about to complete lap number 40. But you take a look here at Joe Yates battling right back down to the inside here at Clinton Woodby, showing him that, hey, you know what? No tires may work out fine, and now catching another caution flag as well. Going to work out nicely for that 87 as well, because it's going to burn up more tires from the rest of this field. And as they kind of get cooled off, they go through these heat cycles as the pace truck is drifting down the infield here. Someone needs to slow him down. He's doing too much out there, man. Sliding down through the apron like that. That is wild work from our safety crew here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. But we'll take a look here, see what happens, as unfortunately looks like Nate Cogdell, Bruce Bernard potentially getting tied together out there on the speedway. Now, Cogdell, I believe one of those drivers that may have taken no tires during that first pit stop here of the day, and it looks like 32. Oh, no, just looks like, losing the rear end right there down through corner 3 and 4 and on corner exit, unfortunately for the 0-0. Just trying to get back onto the throttle, trying to roll back into the gas here. Maybe getting a little bit, air taken off that left rear with the 32 there being towards his inside, but really not too close to where that would make an effect. But I think probably just a little tire spin right there, getting back on the throttle, tries to correct it, tries to save it. Unfortunately, it just snap hooks back around on him as he's sideways here. The 4 right of Jesse Calloway will give him a little love shove right there, help him go around, and I believe we will see Bruce Bernard and Jesse Wise get tied together right here. So I'm not sure if this is their own separate incident. I think for the 17, he sees the 0-0 starting to go around. I think the 69 ride doesn't quite see it right out of the get-go here. Does not react quick enough and drives right through that left rear quarter panel of the Gators truck. And unfortunately, pretty solid contact there to both drivers. Really, really solid left rear damage to the 17, right front damage there for Jesse Wise, and unfortunately from what really was a single truck spin turned into a few more drivers tore up out there on the racetrack and having to get some major repairs done to their race truck. So we do see the 28 ride back down pit side here. Brandon Combs trying to get his truck repaired, hoping to try to get back into the battle here this evening. Rooster Rodden also back down pit side, trying to get repairs. And actually, it looks like Rodden has been down pit road since lap 36, so he's spending a lot of time down pit side here. Unfortunately, a lot of laps that he's been down pit road trying to get this thing repaired. And as we talked earlier about Skylar Berry running into his earlier issues, he was down pit road for a very extended period of time, ended up going a few laps down. We talked about how we've been kind of getting that theme of caution flag after caution flag and enough yellows that he could get a lot of those laps back, and he's back on a lead lap. He's back inside our top 10 and looking to keep on battling here this evening, looking to try to keep on racing his way towards the front of the field here this evening. So that 46 is Skylar Berry marching his way back up towards the front of the pack after getting that truck fixed up and back out onto the speedway. We'll see what the Dr. Pepper QH Designs ride can do here throughout the final stage of our race as 42 laps completed. Still a lot of racing left to go here. A lot of action, a lot of chaos can still be ahead of us here, as that was our 7th caution flag in 42 laps of racing action here this evening. Technically, I mean, it was closer to probably 40 laps as that yellow flag was thrown. So, I mean, some pretty early chaos here, to say the least, for the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League. And for each and every one of these drivers, man, at least they're looking good and they're having some fun throughout the chaos here this evening. I'm sure some probably not having as much fun as others, and some maybe even getting a little bit frustrated with these caution flags, but I'm sure for others, man, they're loving it, keeping these drivers stacked tight together, having some great battles here, door to door, and a lot of great restarts to try to keep on battling and digging, trying to race your way back to the front of the field, as Jack Drucker out in front, the built for speed HendrickUSA.com number 56 Ryan continues to lead the charge. Woodby's right there in second as Joe Yanks holds on to third here, looking right back down low underneath the 92, but Woodby will close the door, jump down just in front of the Expeditions. BNR, the bump and run, number 87 Ryan, as he exits corner number 4, unfortunately comes up off of the white line right there and opens up the door now for not only one driver, but 2 drivers to work around his outside, and for David Trailer to work his way right down low and try to make that move around the 87. Matt Hayden's trying to work his way up towards our top 5 here, but very tight racing is there. 3 wide once again, battling for position number 4, 5, 6 out there on the Speedway. Modesty works his way up into position number 3, and now here we go. Door to door once again for the race lead. Clinton Woodby making another bid for the top spot out there on the Speedway. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to pay off for him. I don't know if he's got enough to kind of battle here with that outside lane momentum. It just seems like Drucker is able to carry enough speed, enough momentum on corner exit that he is able to keep the 92 ride back there at bay. I think for Woodby, he's really going to have to try to find something good out of one of these corners to not only stay door to door with the 56, but to be able to kind of clear him down into the corner. So he may have to shoot it in there a whole lot deeper, trying to maybe go for a bit of a slide jump here. It's going to be very, very tough to do, as Drucker is sending it just as equally deep into the corner in that middle lane and still able to hang on to that top spot here. And unfortunately for the 92, I mean, this is just going to use and abuse his tires. It's going to use and abuse the 56's tires, which could definitely put them both into trouble later in this run, especially if we get a long green flag stint here. If we start to see these laps really get clicked off and they're being super aggressive with the tires here right out of the get-go, it could definitely affect their rides later in this race. It's close, rubbing and scrubbing there out at corner number 2. Luckily enough, both drivers able to keep it pointed in the right direction. Modesty thought about trying to shoot it down to the inside and take it 3 wide. Thought better of it. Will stay in line. They're in that 3rd spot on the Speedway. Is now him and Hayden are door to door for that 3rd spot on the Speedway. And they're stacked up 2 by 2 by 2. Pretty much all the way through the field here, man. These guys putting together another exciting restart. Oh, hang on to it, Woodby. Kind of hit the apron right there. Got very squirrely out of corner number 2. He'll jump right back down to the inside. Now here comes Modesty looking to his outside. Same with that 5 of Matt Hayden. Unfortunately for Modesty, kind of nowhere to go. Kind of got sucked in behind that number 92. Falls in line here still with Clinton Woodby, and that allowed the outside lane, though, with enough momentum to pull up door to door with the 92. So for Modesty, does fall back into 4th here. May even lose that 4th position to the 54 of David Trailer. His Trailer now working to his outside. Here comes Keith Prince. Here comes Joey Yanks. I mean, Yanks, the only driver yet to make a pit stop here this evening. Now, it's probably played out nicely for him, especially with potentially older tires, other drivers taking 2 or 4 tires there throughout that first wave of pit stops here at our stage break. For the 57 ride, though, now that we're starting to see some green flag laps being laid down, he could really start to feel that hurt. He could really start to fall back here quite a bit. But for right now, the strategy's played out really, really nicely with him. It kept him hanging on here inside our top 10. And in still good position, but look out! Matt Hayden goes for the race lead. Contact from Clinton Woodby as he gives a shove to the back bumper of that 5 ride. Door to door again out of corner number 4. And it's Drucker who will drag race him back down across the line and lead lap number 51 here this evening. Drucker trying to clear that 5 right now. Matt Hayden, that was probably the best shot right there. Unfortunately, had to use the 56 up a little bit down into corner number 3 and 4. They made slight contact. That's what opened up the door for the 92. What would be to kind of get right back into that battle. That's allowing now David Trailer to roll to the outside here of Matt Hayden and move himself technically across the line into position number 2 on the Speedway. As Big Corn, what's good, Big Corn, says Rooster has parked it for the night due to embarrassment. Oh no, due to embarrassment is parked that truck down pit side here for the rest of the evening. That is the worst. That is the worst. I mean, that's worse than a DNF. That's worse than getting crashed out. That's worse than anything else, man. Not finishing the race due to embarrassment. That is a tough look. It's a tough look for you, brother, but nonetheless, that's a heartbreaker for the 0-1 rider, Rooster Rodden, as Rooster was having a pretty solid run. We did see him drive up inside the top 10 there for a bit, got a stage point at least out of the deal, but unfortunately scored back in 22nd. Seems like he is done for the day. Heartbreaker there for the 0-1 ride. And for the Lost Society machine, unfortunately, not going to complete this race. Now, he's taking a look back here. I mean, still deeper in the field, still trying to get this truck, repaired without using the quick repair that Hey Dudes 28 machine of Brandon Combs. He's made numerous trips down pit side, has gotten a lot of work done to this 28 ride. Unfortunately, still a little bit off the pace, still falling back here from our race leaders, but slowly but surely getting this truck repaired here enough that he could be competitive midway through this race and try to get himself back into the battle. Now, the worst case scenario for Brandon Combs would be that this race continues to stay clean and green, and we start to see green flag pit stops fly, and unfortunately does not allow him enough time to jump down pit road, get the repairs that he needs under yellow. And if you try to get those repairs during green flag conditions, you're probably going to lose a couple laps out there on the racetrack. And unfortunately for the 28 ride, if he doesn't see a fairly quick caution flag here over the next 10, 20, 30 laps, we could potentially see Brandon Combs lose a lap anyways, just for how off the pace this damaged 28 ride is rolling on the Speedway. Eric Hegdahl, he's back here as well. Quite surprising to see Hegdahl still back here. Didn't really have a ton of damage on this Red Bull Racing machine, but unfortunately kind of scored back here at 20th. He's quite a ways back. Same with Bruce Bernard in the 17 ride. Jesse Wise here. He's back deeper in the field, scored in that 18th position. Joe Yakes, who's on the no pit stop strategy so far. He's the only driver that has not come down pit side here this evening. The 87 rolls here in that 17th position now. So he's given up all that track position as we start to run a lot more green flag laps. That was kind of to be expected with the older tires on that 87 machine. But now he starts to get into that territory on how much farther can he roll. Obviously got a lot of yellow laps in there, so he was probably able to save a lot of fuel out there on the Speedway. As It's Your Boy says, do you have Cash App or PayPal? So I only have PayPal. Unfortunately, I'm in Canada, so I'm close to the border. It automatically transfers right over to Canadian. So unfortunately, the USD will be transferred to Canadian for me. So, and in Canada, we can't get Cash App. We can only have PayPal here in Canada. Cash App is not an app here for Canadians like myself, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely just PayPal. But here tonight, man, Drucker, putting together just a great race, great performance here, that 56 ride, but I think it's going to come down to potentially some late race restarts, potentially someone saving a little bit more fuel, maybe having a little bit better tire, could make the difference late in this race, and that could steal the win away from our points leader here this evening. As Strucker came into this race with the points lead, feeling A-okay, man. He has had an incredible start to this season, as I do believe. Take a look here at our schedule. If I can find the schedule here. Oh, we're in the wrong Discord. Let me jump to my Discord. There that is. Where is... There's the schedule. All right, so what are we at here? We're at Las Vegas, so we're 6, 7, 8 races in. This is technically our 9th points race of this season. So 8 races of points have already been completed here on the season. So here in this one, obviously for a lot of these drivers, as Big Horn says, you Canadians with your Looney Tunes currency. I know, right? I know. Listen, I'm all for us becoming the 51st state, brother. We are definitely in dire needs. Our country is virtually in a recession. We have virtually been in a recession for the last 6, 7 years through the Liberal Party. And unfortunately, it's tough living up here, man. It's tough living up here. Everything is so dang expensive, as it's your boy says, oh, I only have Cash App. I'll see if I can get it. Yeah, if you can't get PayPal, we can always work something out. I have other buddies or even one of the guys here in this series that probably have PayPal. They could always, you know, you could send the Cash App to them. They could send it to me. I can take the hit on the transfer fees or anything else. That doesn't matter. We can figure that out. We can get that figured out, no problem. That is for dang certain, as we can always work around that loophole there. But for Jack Drucker, man, out in front, I mean, as we were talking, man, he's been our points leader for the majority of this race. Got off to such a hot start, leading and winning so many races, kind of right out of the get-go here, and now already, I mean, with, you know, 7, I guess it's actually only 7 races here of points racing, 5 victories here for that number 56 ride, 6 top 5s. He has just been absolutely incredible every step of the way, and it has led to him having, coming into this race, a 115-point lead over the rest of the field. 115-point lead between himself and our second-place driver in the points, which is the 92 of Clinton Woodby. Now, Woodby was trying to battle hard there with him, trying to steal this race lead away from that 56 ride. Unfortunately, didn't quite work out for him. Could not complete that pass, and now, unfortunately for Woodby, he's in a whole different battle now, as he has the 59 of Trevor McManus able to get around him. Here comes that 36 ride of Stephen Luttrell. We see Jesse Calloway, Brody Bente, Skylar Berry, all right there, as our front 4 have virtually separated themselves from the rest of the field here by a fairly decent margin. You take a look at Jack Drucker, you take a look here at the 5 ride of Matt Taylor, Matt Hayden, David Trailer, and Keith Prince here, our top 4. Out in front, you can see that gap there. 2.6 seconds here from Keith Prince in position number 4 to our 5th place driver, the 59 of Trevor McManus. 2.6 seconds virtually separating that first group to this second group out there on the Speedway, and there's a whole lot more carnage out there on the racetrack here in this one, as it's your boy says, yeah, man, I have a friend that lives there. He says it's hard to survive there. Yeah, it is definitely tough right now in Canada, brother. That is to say the least. I can't say too much about it over a live stream, because if I do say something wrong, our government can get me in trouble now, because it's communist. Pretty much. We're China now at this point up here in Canada. So, unfortunately here, under some of the new bills that the party has put out, yeah, unfortunately, you say the wrong thing online now, you can have jail time. So we'll keep our mouth shut for the most part on the bad things up here in the Great White North of Canada here. As Jack Drucker, though, out in front continues to lead the charge. Matt Hayden there in second. David Traylor sits in position number 3. Keith Prince in fourth here is our top 4, separated nicely here. Really have no pressure to their back bumper. So I think for right now, if you're Drucker, if you're Hayden, Traylor, Keith Prince, I think if you guys are looking at that relative, you can see how far back the rest of the field is here. The smart thing to do would just be to try to stay single file, stay tight together here, try to run and draft kind of deal out there on the racetrack where you can continue to pull farther and farther away from that second pack, and that's exactly what they're doing right now. That gap has built up to about 3.2 seconds, so the big question mark will be what is leading to that big of a gap. Why do we not see McManus, Woodby, Bente, McNutt kind of right up there continue to battle here? It could be tires, it could be fuel, it could be all of the above, and just trying to play out their strategy. They're starting to see good green flag laps being laid down now, so the big question mark is how long do they continue? How much more green flag laps will we have throughout this run prior to the next caution flag, or if there will be another caution flag? So they may be playing it a whole lot smarter right now, just taking it a little bit easier, trying to save their equipment, maybe not trying to push as hard, trying to keep these tires underneath of them for a lot longer in this run prior to having to make green flag pit stops out there on the speedway. And when we look back here deeper in the field, Joey Yanks, unfortunately, did have to come down pit road, did have to make that green flag pit stop to get fuel into this 87 truck. He was the only one that did not pit throughout any of those cautions and throughout our stage break here this evening. The 57 ride stayed out on the racetrack, did not come down pit road. So I think for 87 ride, pitted back on lap 62. I think with the inflated caution flags that we had in the amount of time that he was kind of able to roll out of the throttle, probably take it a little bit easier out there on the speedway. For the 87 machine of Joe Yanks, probably about 50 laps. I'm going to say probably somewhere around 45 to 50 laps is going to be about the distance that all these drivers can make it here on fuel to a full tank of gas in these NASCAR trucks. So I believe for each and every one of these drivers, I mean, green flag pit stops are not entirely too far away for a lot of these competitors. A lot of these drivers were down pit road last time during our stage break. Even now with them getting some of their own caution flags, they're trying to save some fuel out there on the speedway. I think if they can push it to that lap 55 marker, we will see them down pit road somewhere around lap 95 to lap 100, which could put them right somewhere near that line of being able to make it on fuel or having to make an additional stop here late in this race. I think by my calculations, there may be 2 green flag pit stops that these drivers will have to make late in this race, especially for maybe our front 4 who have been a little bit more aggressive, a little bit harder on the throttle here to kind of start this run out. And for the other drivers, when we look back at McManus and Clinton Woodby, Bente, they may have been saving a whole lot more fuel, and even farther back when you look at the drivers at the tail end of this pack, they may have been saving a ton out there on the racetrack, which could potentially make it a little bit easier of a call to try to stretch that fuel out, to try to make it here during only 1 green flag pit stop during the stage. If it stays clean and green, only having to make 1 pit stop could be the winning move. It can save you, 40, 50, 60 seconds of pit time out there on the racetrack that could propel you potentially into victory lane here this evening. So if you have that opportunity, if you have that drive to be able to save that fuel and put yourself into that position, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be able to pull it off, who's going to be able to put themselves into that spot to maybe steal this win away just on a fuel mileage game plan here on the Speedway. As you do see the 46, the 97 of Colton Hardy, Skylar Berry, a pair of those beautiful QH Designs rides battling back here in that 13th and 14th position. Brian Cunningham right there behind him in that 15th spot on the Speedway. Eric Hegdal scored back there in 16th. Jesse Wise, Harrison Crosby, Bruce Bernard, and Brandon Combs, who we talked about, having that damage and not wanting to see a longer green flag run here because it's not going to allow him, those caution laps to come down pit road, try to get this truck repaired, try to get it up to speed and into good working condition. Unfortunately, he hasn't gotten one of those quick yellows, and he doesn't get this truck completely repaired, and that's just going to minimize his time down pit road to try to get these repairs here throughout this race, which could definitely put him into a dire position later on here this evening, especially if he does lose a lap. As of right now, he's about 21 seconds behind our race leader and his teammate, Jack Drucker, which case, 21 seconds, man, that is, 10 seconds away from potentially falling a lap down, so he's about 2/3 of this racetrack behind the race leaders, and starting to see maybe green flag pit stops. So a driver that I thought maybe would take the challenge here to make it on fuel is going to try to go the opposite direction here with the short pit. He knows that, hey, you know what? Fuel is probably going to have to be a thing, and he's going to jump on it to hit pit road, make a green flag pit stop here, get 4 fresh tires, get fuel, roll back out there on the racetrack, and hope that these fresh tires for a longer period of time may work out into his favor, may put him into a winning position later on here this evening. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out for Colton Hardy. Definitely a bold strategy move. Definitely a very interesting one, because potentially, if we were to see a green flag caution or a caution flag fly right now, it would trap him maybe a lap or 2 laps down out there on the racetrack. So we'll keep a close eye there on Colton Hardy, but it looks like we're going to have another taker on that strategy as here comes the 3 machine, the Johnny Johnson Motorsports Songs for Sound number 3 ride of Keith Prince also hits pit lane, so he gives up that 4th position, hits pit road. The crew's going to go to work and try to get him back out there on the racetrack here in a quick hurry, as he'll be trying his hand here at the short pit strategy. Now here comes the 59 of Trevor McManus in that Ski-Doo. XPS Bump and Run Motorsports number 59 ride will hit pit lane here himself. So slowly we're starting to see more and more takers here on that earlier pit strategy. More drivers starting to navigate their way into their pit stall. Unfortunately, that's going to cost the 59 a little bit right there. Went a little too far in his box. Had to throw it in reverse, back it up, and Crew finally able to go to work there on that 59 ride, but he will be back there a little bit farther. Now here we go. We do see our race leader now hit pit road. So Drucker, Hayden, Brody Bente all hit pit road. So I think Matt Hayden just doing exactly what Jack Drucker was doing here. You saw that the 56 was hitting pit road. He comes down pit side at the exact same time, not trying to allow Jack Drucker to get an advantage or jump too far out in front. So Hayden's trying to stay right there with him. Now Brian Cunningham also down pit side as well. And that should probably start to bring a lot more drivers down pit road. And for some that were down pit side at lap 29, obviously fuel definitely started to get tight for them after, virtually about 50 laps of racing here throughout this run for those drivers. Now, there were some caution flags in there, so I feel like 45 laps, probably a tank of fuel here. More, maybe 46, 47 if you're able to stretch it. So I think all these drivers already knew that they were going to probably have to make 2 pit stops here throughout this cycle no matter what. So everyone hits pit road. They'll plan to probably come back down pit road in about 40 laps or so from now, giving themselves probably about a 35 to 30 lap run to finish off this race if things stay clean and green out there on the Speedway. But we do see Skylar Berry, Eric Hegdal now both hit pit lane, so they'll make their pit stops. We do see Jesse Calloway staying out a little bit longer here. Calloway, Brennan McNutt, Nate Cogdell, looks like Bruce Bernard, Harrison Crosby, all going to stay out here for an extended period of time. Jesse Wise, I think Jesse Wise maybe has a flat tire or some sort of catastrophic damage here to this 69 machine, and unfortunately for the Shitty Coolers ride, we'll have to hit pit road right here. He does have the damaged flank, so I'm not sure if that is potentially, a tire going down in the 69 machine, or if this is something else under the hood that has gone wrong here for Jesse. We'll have to wait and see how quickly he's able to roll back out on the speedways. We do see that 7 of Harrison Crosby into his pit stall right there. Got into the box a little too far, had to back it up himself. You see the 69 there in the top left do the exact same thing, get in a little too far, have to throw it in reverse. So it seems like these pit stalls very, very slippery here for these drivers, and unfortunately we've seen a few drivers here already kind of slide through their box. That will cost them quite a bit of time, but for the SNS coffee machine, he's going to roll back out on the speedway. There goes that Johnny Johnson Motorsports number 7 ride to rejoin the field here, get back into the battle here this afternoon as the MOZA Racing Pabst Blue Ribbon number 4 rider Jesse Calloway continues to lead the charge, continues to click these laps off. Brennan McNutt there in second. Nate Cogdell scored there in position number 3. Now has the number 3 truck of Prince quickly right down to his inside. Bruce Bernard hits pit road in that beautiful Florida Gators number 17 machine. So the crew will go to work here as fortunately looked like he was maybe a little too far in there as well. Again, had to throw it in reverse, as that's definitely seemed to be a big struggle here throughout these green flag pit stops. As Paula in the chat says, let's go number 4, cheering on Jesse Calloway here this evening. As Calloway doing a fantastic job here, now leading some laps. Did get tied up in a couple early race issues, but now, some green flag pit strategy, and for the 4 ride, kind of sitting pretty right here, allowing some of the fresher tires to go by him, kind of running this out a little bit longer, maybe trying to make it to a number where he can make it here on that 1 pit stop strategy. And it looks like Brandon McNutt, Nate Cogdell, maybe the only 3 that are really trying that strategy here. Looks like maybe Brandon Combs maybe trying that as well. Unfortunately for Combs, though, this longer run here, and now finally hitting pit road, still has that damage, still going to be off the pace here compared to the rest of the field. He's in a very, very difficult position where he may potentially lose a lap or multiple laps out there on the racetrack. So for the number 28 ride, he's going to have a lot of things go right for him here late in this race. And now you do see Nate Cogdell, he'll hit pit lane on lap number 90. So he shoots it down pit road, virtually running about 51 laps there, probably about 48 of green flag racing. So for Cogdell, hits pit lane here himself. The crew will go to work. They'll get this thing fixed up, get 4 tires, get fuel into it, and we'll see him and where he migrates back out onto the racing surface. Says now here comes our race leader. Jesse Calloway will hit pit road. So Calloway down pit side. He will forfeit the race lead over to Brennan McNutt. McNutt will now jump out in front as my boy Jack Fletcher in the house. What's good, Fletcher? Jack coming in showing the love with the let's go baby in the chat, coming in with the Peacemaker let's goes here this evening. How are you, Mr. Fletcher? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful day. Is Fletcher a part of our amazing Peacemaker sub club here on YouTube? One of our amazing members here on the YouTube streams, and coming in showing the love and enjoying the custom emotes here on Peacemaker Gaming. As Brendan McNutt, though, now hits pit road himself. He was able to go a little bit farther here than the rest of the field. Now that may set him up nicely with better tires throughout this run, but obviously so many laps there with older tires compared to the fresh tires. Probably going to set him back a little bit more here. Short term, long term, he could gain all that time back plus some. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But the pit strategy playing out nicely for the 5 rider, Matt Hayden. Hayden comes out of the pits in the top spot here. Drucker's all the way back in position number 8, and he is getting absolutely pushed around the racetrack right now by Clinton Woodby. Woodby all over his back bumper, trying to find his way around this 56 ride. Still hasn't been able to make that move. He's been trying to pass Drucker all night long, whether it was for the race lead or now for position number 8 out there on the racetrack there. Continue to battle here. That 56 and 92 are front 2 drivers in the point standings here this evening as David Trailer Trailer Sr. in the chat cheering on David Trailer out there on the racetrack. And for David, I mean, he's in second, man. Good pit stops there for Matt Hayden, for David Trailer, and Keith Prince. I'm actually quite intrigued to see what happened to Jack Drucker and how he kind of fell all the way back here. I didn't see any pit road speeding penalties, so I'm not 100% sure what had gone wrong here for that 56 ride. He came down pit road as our race leader. This is Jack leaving pit road. Does he come out with Matt Hayden? So he's in a stall. The crew goes to work. He leaves pit road with the 5 ride. They're virtually door to door. Take a look. Does he spin the tires here? Does he maybe lose it on the apron? That costs him a lot of time. This is interesting. So he's down on the apron right at the get-go, way down below that 5 ride. Doesn't make any huge mistakes. He does give up the race lead, but that doesn't explain why he's fallen all the way back to 8th. So potentially some unknown contact out there on the racetrack. Maybe somebody coming down pit road in front of him. Some way or another, he falls from being only a few truck lengths off the back bumper of this 5 ride of Matt Hayden coming out of pit road to now Matt Hayden being our race leader and having what would now be 16 seconds over Jack Drucker. That is an incredible amount of time to give up over just a 15-lap run to Matt Hayden. So I don't know if it's strategy or what may have happened here to Drucker. If we get to talk to him here tonight, we'll have to ask him about it, as David Trailer says 54 for the win. He says for the win for that 54 ride of David Trailer here this evening. But for right now, Matt Hayden out in front, has the race lead and sitting solidly out in front here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Down across the line will complete lap number 98, but he's got about 4.4 seconds between himself and David Trailer. A little farther back, about 6.2 seconds behind him in our 3rd position is Keith Prince, back there in position number 3. Colton Hardy a little farther back now. For Colton, he was one of the first drivers to make these green flag pit stops, so unfortunately you can expect to see the driver with a little worse tire maybe start to fall back a little bit more throughout this run. So you could see Steven Luttrell, Rusty Modesty, Joe Yakes start to make moves around him, and now we see Drucker fall even farther back here. I'm not sure what's going on here with Jack Drucker. I mean, Woodby's still right behind him. We've seen now Nate Cogdell's gotten by. Jesse Calloway's gotten by. Here comes Brennan McNutt to the inside of the 92. The 56 looks like Brennan McNutt's going to move right on and around both of these guys. So I'm not sure if there's a huge strategy play from the 56 ride of Jack Drucker and Clinton Woodby. I don't know if they are just trying to save a little extra fuel right here. Maybe they didn't get enough fuel into the tank down pit road. That it's going to put them into a tough position, and they're just waiting for a caution flag or hoping that they can hit their number to kind of make this final pit stop here this afternoon in probably about 20-30 laps from now. But for right now, I mean, both drivers falling deep in the field, both outside the top 10 right now, or maybe just not using any tires right there. That could be the big question mark right there as well. Maybe taking no tires throughout that pit stop. But I mean, we saw him come down pit road in front of Matt Hayden, leave pit road virtually door to door with him. So you've got to imagine that he took tires for Jack Drucker, man. That it's got to be, had to have been tires going on to this 56 ride. There's no way there wasn't tires going on to this racetrack. Let's see if we can go back a little farther here. When do we see Drucker and Hayden come out of the pits here? Okay, let's go back here. Take a look at the full pit stop here for Drucker. I mean, even from right there, you can see that this truck definitely gets jacked up. They definitely put 4 tires onto it. There's the right sides going on. They're going to complete the service there on the right side. They go to the left side, so he is getting 4 tires. Does get a full tank of fuel here. I just don't understand how these guys have fallen this far back. I mean, they are 22 seconds behind Matt Hayden on the Speedway right now. That is a huge gap. That is a lot of time over this run to fall behind Matt Hayden, David Traylor, Keith Prince, and the rest of this field, and just be continuing to fall farther and farther back. So definitely a bit of a head scratcher right there. But for Matt Hayden, I mean, he's loving every second of it. He's got a sizable lead. He's just kind of on cruise control out in front, hoping to see it stay clean and green, hoping to see more green flag pit stops, and hoping that he can continue just to kind of build that gap and keep all these drivers back there at bay and try to park himself up and into victory lane. I mean, even for David Traylor, I'm sure he'd be fairly content with a second place run, but I know he would love either through pit strategy or something to try to work his way up to Matt Hayden here, and he is slowly but surely reeling him in. I'm just not sure if he's going to have enough laps here throughout this run to catch him prior to more green flag pit stops, but for Traylor, he's definitely drawing into that 5 right of Matt Hayden out there on the Speedway. So it's going to be fun. This is going to be interesting, man, to see what's kind of going on, see what the strategy calls are for a lot of these drivers as 105 laps are completed. We only have 55 laps of racing action left to go here this evening, and pit road could virtually open for majority of these drivers probably in the next 10 to 15 laps. So what we're going to do is jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, without a doubt, our Crank It Up caution flag curse will continue here this evening as the yellow flag is once again displayed here from Las Vegas as the Crank It Up curse continues here this evening. Unfortunately, the Crank It Up claims another caution flag, and now our 8th caution of the evening after what was our longest run of this race, and a very good green flag run here for each and every one of these drivers. The yellow flag comes back out, and this is going to be a really interesting one. We'll see if or where. There it is. Okay, so you watch the 59 ride right here. McManus, it looks like McManus going to run into some problems. Take another look at it. Here is the bump and run. Number 59 ride just down through corner number 3 and 4. Just kind of lose that rear end. Car washes down to the apron. Unfortunately, it's the apron. Continues out of control. Washes up into the outside fence. Pretty solid right front contact there. Pretty good damage to the front end of this 59 ride, and for Trevor McManus, that's what brings out our caution flag. Heartbreak there for that 59 ride, as that will set him back late in this race and potentially even put him a lap down out there on the Speedway, but that's going to make things really, really interesting because I'm not sure if these drivers make it to the end of this race on fuel. I think they're going to be really, really, really tight on fuel here in this one, man. It's going to be fun to see, and now you do see all these drivers, man. I mean, Drucker comes out of the pits back in that 13th position. Now, Harrison Crosby did stay out, so right now our current race leader for all the Crosby fans in the stands, Harrison leads the charge here at Las Vegas, and if he doesn't come down pit road here throughout this yellow flag, Harrison Crosby would be our race leader back to the green flag here this evening, which is going to be very interesting to say the least. But nonetheless, I mean, for the 7 Ryan, leading some good laps here at Las Vegas, getting some bonus points potentially into his back pocket as well by leading some laps. And it looks like he's going to stay out. So you got to wonder here, the 7 Ryan may know kind of what we're thinking here. I think these guys are still going to be really, really tight on fuel. Everyone that had come down pit road, they're on lap 109. I mean, even when we go back to green flag racing, lights just turned off the official iRacing pace truck. They'll be restarting, completing lap 111. Or completing lap 111, yeah, so they're going to have 49 laps. Which, I mean, I think that's kind of right on that borderline. I feel like maybe you can save enough fuel to make it 49 laps, but if you push a little bit too hard, if you don't get your calculations correct on how much you're saving, I think it's going to be really, really interesting to see, because we could have drivers running out of fuel here late in this race. And I think for Harrison, he's just expecting maybe with that caution flag, a lot of different strategy, maybe some drivers getting shuffled back and now trying to race their way back towards the front of the field here. Maybe they feel, or he feels that they could make some big mistakes, that there could be a few more caution flags right here that could get him closer to that number, that could make him good on fuel to get to the end of this race and beyond if we have NASCAR overtime here this evening, which is another thing a lot of these drivers are going to have to try to keep in the back of their mind. Overtime is always a possibility, especially with the craziness that we've seen here this evening, that late race yellows could definitely be in abundance, and trying to have to stretch that fuel out even farther may prove very, very difficult. As here we go, back. The green flag racing is down through the Echo Park restart zone. Harrison Crosby with a great launch, great restart. He's able to clear that 5 right of Matt Hayden. He leads him down into corner number 1, nice and easy, down and out of corner number 2. Crosby will keep him back there at bay. Is now down the back straightaway though. He leaves the outside lane open, but look out, there is a quick caution. Jesse Calloway goes for a couple loop-de-loops here down the back straightaway as the Pabst Beer machine goes for a slide here at a corner number 2. Let's take a look at it and see what happens here, as it looks like he may be riding the Bente at a corner number 2 as Brody Bente down to his inside. Just tight racing, 2-3 wide right there, and unfortunately looks like Brody Bente just gonna catch a piece of that left rear quarter panel of the 4 Ryan. That will spin Callaway around, and that's what will bring the caution flag back out. So he goes for a couple loop-de-loops, and if he just put a brand new set of tires on that Ford truck, unfortunately, that could definitely do a lot of damage. Flat spot, those tires could definitely kind of burn that entire setup right there, going for that slide down at a corner number 2 and down the back straightaway there. So for Jesse Callaway, unfortunately, that could set him back a little bit here in this one. Now, luckily enough, there wasn't any major contact or damage dealt to his truck or to that 63 of Brody Bente. But nonetheless, the yellow flag does fly. The caution comes back out. That means another restart, another crazy action-packed first couple quarters out there on the Speedway, and the chaos could definitely continue here, as we could start to see some of those continuous back-to-back caution flags here towards the end of this race with like kind of like we saw at the beginning of this race here. So hopefully it won't last for 40 plus laps, but you just never quite know. And for Harrison Crosby, I think strategy of staying out here, maybe just trying to run this a little bit longer, trying to make sure you hit that number down pit side to where you're definitely good on fuel for not only a 45 lap green flag run, but also NASCAR overtime, and trying to put himself into potentially a winning position if everyone else has to migrate their way down pit road. But I think this yellow flag is really going to help those guys out to maybe save enough fuel to maybe get to the checkered flag, maybe not beyond, but maybe they're just game planning right now that they won't have to make that extra stop, that they will be good on fuel. So we'll see how that'll play out here in the coming laps, as we did see the 69 ride able to get the lucky dog right there. So Jesse Wines gets the free pass, gets the lap back, and we'll be back on the lead lap here this evening, back into the battle out there on the Speedway. Unfortunately for Bruce Bernard, Bruce is still scored as our first driver 1 lap down. He does need a quick caution flag to try to get himself back on the lead lap, back into the battle here this evening. So we'll see if he can get lucky, get your quick caution, get that lap back, get back into the battle. And I think for Brandon Combs here as well, I mean, that caution flag, that, well, not this one, but the last one, really saved his bacon as well. It kept him on the lead lap. He's now been able to get down pit road here, get that truck repaired, so it's back into perfect condition out there on the racetrack now. He's just got to try to regain all this track position. I think him and his teammates are kind of on that same drive, as Drucker's currently scored in 11th. You see Brendan McNutt there in 12th, and Combs scored back in 14th. They're all going to be trying to navigate their way through that top 10 and try to hunt down the top spot here, potentially the race lead again this evening. So here we go, stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. We're going to jump on board here with Colton Hardy for this restart, as we'll continue on with our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So again, crank up that volume, cheer on your favorite drivers as we get ready to crank it up again here this evening from the beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway, as the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League put on a incredible show for us again here tonight, man. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of carnage, but a whole lot of fun for all these drivers, the fans in the stands, including myself, up here in the broadcast booth to enjoy here on this fine Friday night. As here we go, back to green flag racing and back to our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So crank up that volume as we go back to battle here in Sin City. Caution flag will come back out, so our prediction to potentially multiple caution flags flying here has kind of came true, as another quick caution flag here. Let's take a look at it. And looks like the 6th ride of Modesty. Oh no, looks like made some contact here. Tight 3-wide racing for position number 5 here on the racetrack. That is Joe Yakes to the inside, the 3-wide of Price to the outside, door to door, and unfortunately just tight down into quarter number 3 and then down through 3 and out of 4. Let's take a look here at it. The 6 kind of come down a little bit. Yeah, looks like maybe coming down a bit there into the nose of that 87, and unfortunately just that slight contact just knocked that rear end out. And for the 6 of Modesty, he's trying to hang on to it here. He's trying to save it, trying to keep pointing the right direction, goes left, goes right, finally goes back left, and goes around right there. And luckily enough for Drucker, Brendan McNutt, they're able to avoid contact and damage. I think a close call right there for that 32 ride as well, as Cunningham almost absolutely cleaned out the 6th ride. And for Modesty himself here, man, I mean, great piece of driving to be able to try to keep this thing out of the fence. That happened rather quickly, and be able to kind of catch it, go around right there. Luckily, it doesn't get completely ran over by anybody and only makes slight contact there with that outside fence. I mean, that was incredible. That could have been a whole lot worse for a ton of drivers. A lot of these cats, I mean, really had just nowhere to go here after this contact. You take a look at some of these drivers that are back behind him, some of these guys that are trying to slide through here. Nate Cogdell's right there. I mean, he is very close. That the 6 could have came down into him right there, could have went up into the fence, into the lap of the 56 of Drucker. Brennan McNutt has the 6 right sideways, parked right in front of him, able to move up and out of the way of him. And you see the 32, the 69, the 4 right, all able to get down low and able to avoid this 6 right, man. That was quite incredible that no one actually drove through the side of this truck, because that could have been very, very bad for a lot of these drivers in a quick hurry, as, man, a lot of these guys didn't even see it happening, and luckily enough, able to make the move to get low or get high to be able to avoid that contact. Let's see if we can play it back and jump on board here with Brennan McNutt, see what he can see from the cockpit of this HendrickCars.com number 48 ride, because he's going to have a crazy seat in this one. As here we go. Oh, sees 6 little sideways. Oh, more sideways. Oh, man, just able to get up out of the way there, avoid contact, and destroying this number 48 machine out there on the speedway. Well, that does put us back under the caution flag, so another restart on the horizon, and once again, we'll try to get this crank it up going here. Hopefully we can get some good laps in. Hopefully we can get some good, crank it up laps in here for these drivers to be able to, enjoy the sights and sounds around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We haven't had more than a lap or so of being able to do the crank it up here. Your boy just wants to get a quick drink, kind of, take a little bit of a breather for a couple minutes. So hopefully we can get some good laps in here, get a good crank it up in, and allow you guys to enjoy the sights and sounds around the beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Alrighty, the caution flag will be displayed again. Another yellow flag here this evening. This is caution flag number 11. Now this evening, let's take a look back and see what happened as our boy Fletcher in the house showing the love. What's good, Jack? Brother, how are you? How's your Friday, man? How's your Friday going? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful, wonderful Friday night. Let's take a look back and see what brings out our 11th caution flag, as there was a little bit of bouncing around here. I think Drucker was kind of right in the middle of it. I think he ends up getting tied up in it, ends up with some pretty solid damage here himself. So let's take a look here. Drucker and Colton Hardy, 3 wide, down through corner 3 and 4, into corner number 4 here. not sure if Drucker comes up. Nonetheless, him and Colton Hardy get tied together. Shoots the 56 up into the outside fence, and you see Keith Prince gets a piece of the 97 truck as well. Let's take a look here. See what happens. See if maybe the 97 comes down off the top shelf. Tries to get in behind the 56. I think that's kind of what we see right there heading into the tri-oval, is that it just looks like he kind of comes down, trying to work his way in behind the 56, maybe trying to hit him with a bit of a crossover there down through this tri-oval. Unfortunately, just wasn't quite clear of that HendrickCars.com truck, and that virtually just right hooks him. Spins him up into the outside fence. Big hit there for Drucker, and then Prince gets into Colton Hardy, and then from that point on, it's on like Donkey Kong. Here comes the 87 of Joe Yates, the 28 ride of Combs gets hard contact as he gets onto the binders from the number 00 ride of Nate Congdale, and as they kind of get bouncing around here, unfortunately, he's going to end up with some pretty solid damage himself. But take a look at Skylar Berry on the outside as Combs hooks right there the 87 machine of Joe Yates. It shoots Yates up the racetrack and directly into the driver's side door of that 46. Man, that was a huge hit there for Yanks. Huge hit for the number 46 of Skylar Berry. There's the contact, and then into the 46, and then you're going to see Brendan McNutt get some damage into it. Keith Prince gets more contact there as he gets a big piece of that 87 ride as well. And then you do see more drivers all kind of pile into this as McNutt gets a piece of it, the 32 and the 63 of Bente. They get tied together. They both go around. You watch the 32 down the racetrack. Hard contact into that infield safer barrier. Looks like the 63 may make a little contact there as well. Looks like he just comes up maybe a little bit shy of that contact, but man, there's a lot of drivers that just got absolutely tore up down the front straightaway here, man. I would call that the big one here this evening, as there was a lot of drivers that just found themselves in a very, very difficult position in a quick hurry out there on the speedway. There's how it starts, and here's how it kind of gets finished off here, as a lot of drivers end up with a lot of damage here on the speedway, and unfortunately, that's going to have a ton of them down pit road here for an extended period of time. May even potentially take some drivers out of this race, as we will get them stacked up. We will get them racked up and back ready to rock and roll. Now, we do see Yanks back out there on the speedway. Looks like he had his quick repair. So did Jack Drucker, Colton Hardy. Looks like Keith Prince back into one good piece here. Looks like a lot of drivers able to stay in the battle, but unfortunately for a lot of drivers, that's going to eliminate their quick repair, put them into a tough spot late in this race, and now you see Drucker already making big moves. Back there deeper in the field, going 4 wide to jump around a few drivers, trying to quickly race his way back up towards the front of the field, knowing that he is running out of time here, and he needs this track position if he wants a chance or a shot to try to race his way back up to the front of the field. As Fletcher says, "Good brother, hope you're well. You know I'm always doing good, Fletcher. You know I'm always doing good, especially when we can be up here in the broadcast booth and get to enjoy the great racing out there on the speedways." You see Drucker, man, he is flying through the field. Started virtually right there at the back of the pack. He's already up into our top 6, making the move here around Brody Bente. So I'm not sure if he threw on a fresh set of tires or what the difference is. Maybe just driving a little pissed off, but you can see the 56 just making insane moves. He's got to have fresh tires onto this 56 ride, and he is using them to his advantage right now, as he just virtually passed about 15 drivers on his march back towards the front of the field, but now has the race leaders 3 wide right in front of him. He doesn't really have anywhere to go, but will he find a hole? Will he take him 4 wide to try to put himself into the winning position, or it looks like he's just going to try to push that 54 at David Trailer out in front, and now he'll be 3 wide for position number 2 as he tries to make that move and tries to work his way back to the point here this evening. Now, the big question mark will be, was that Jack Drucker's final set of tires? does everyone else potentially have an extra set still back behind pit wall? And if we run 10 or 15 laps here, see another caution flag, and he is used and abused those tires a bit here. That could put him at a disadvantage late in this race. But obviously for right now, if things stay clean and green, he's got the best tires. He has a really fast race truck, and he is looking for the race lead as him and David Trailer gonna trade paint down the front straightaway as the caution flag will fly once again. Caution flag is back out. Now, I mean, that wasn't a necessarily super long run, so I'm not sure if we're going to see a lot of drivers coming down pit road to get fuel and tires. Now, there was almost slightly a yellow flag right there between the 92 and the 5 ride. Looks like they were able to avoid contact, so it's back behind this. I believe it's Jesse Wise and a few other drivers getting tangled together. So Brennan McNutt sideways here. Looks like he may get a little helping hand from the 59 of McManus. Little 3 wide right there. McManus just slightly comes up the racetrack. He's run out of room there. McManus ends up into that left rear quarter panel of the 48, and unfortunately spins the 48 right around. Then the 4 of Callaway gets in there. Wise gets in there. Unfortunately, Joe's also going to get a pretty good piece of contact there. So Yanks gets tore up. Colton Hardy's got nowhere to go. He gets slammed into a few big hits right there for McManus, for Brennan McNutt. And unfortunately for all 3 of those trucks, a ton of damage, man. They are absolutely tore up out there on the racetrack after couple big hits, not only into each other, but into the outside fence. Unfortunately, you do see the 7 ride of Harrison Crosby also get a little contact into that as McManus kind of comes back down the racetrack. Crosby's trying to work his way around it, trying to keep himself out of it, but McManus comes off the fence and contact right there. Luckily enough, not major damage or anything that'll probably be catastrophic for the 7 ride, but for a few of these other drivers, that may be a little bit catastrophic as we'll get them all stacked up and ready to rock and roll, ready to go back to battle. 5 to go. I don't think it's 5 to go. Oh, so they've changed this race. I thought this race was 160 laps. Okay, their Discord definitely lied to me. I go to next race info, Las Vegas, June 5th. That's today. Says 160 laps. So they changed that on us. Okay, so it is only a few laps left to go. So for Drucker, if those are fresh tires, then he's sitting in a perfect position. I thought we still had 35 laps of racing action left here in this race. So we are down to the nitty-gritty now, especially with these late race issues. Oh, my bad. It's not your bad. It's your boy CJ. It is definitely not your bad. That's our bad. Apparently things got changed here without updating the information here to the broadcaster. I mean, it happens. Definitely caught me by surprise. I thought it was 160 laps. Man, that caught me by surprise here. It is only 135 laps, so they have knocked this down 25 laps. I mean, probably not a bad idea that they did for how much chaos we've seen so far here at Vegas, and we may still see a few more yellow flags as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. Looks like it will be a 3-lap shootout, so we have not hit NASCAR overtime as of yet, but for all these drivers, I mean, Drucker flew through the field right there. If he had that extra set and he used them, obviously it's worked out nicely for him as he's been able to race his way through the field back out in front and out into this position. You got to wonder why no one else really took that opportunity there. I'm quite surprised we didn't see drivers like Matt Hayden or Eric Hegdel or even some of these other guys a little deeper in the field not come down pit road. Now, we did see a few of them. McNutt did get some work done, so did Brandon Combs. Here we go, back to green flag racing. A little bit of a stack up right there, but we'll keep an eye on a few of these drivers back here. Modesty did not come down pit side there during that caution flag. Wise did, Colton Hardy did. A few of these drivers that maybe have a lot of damage, but maybe still have fresh tires here. Gonna try to use them to their advantage late in this race, but for the 56 of Drucker, he's trying to hold on to the race lead. It is this number 36, Steven Luttrell, who's trying to now battle his way into position number 2, trying to put himself into a position to potentially try to steal this win away from Drucker as it crossed the line. It is 2 laps left to go here in this one. 2 more laps left to duke it out here this evening, and it is tight racing here at the front of the field. Steven all over the back bumper of Drucker. High side, low side, high side. Where's he gonna go? Nobody knows. Is Drucker able to just keep that truck pinned down low, able to hit his marks through 3 and 4, keep that 36 off his back bumper, and across the line, we will see the white flag fly here this evening. Jack Drucker out in front. Can he hang on to it? Can he keep Steven Luttrell, David Trailer, Matt Hayden, and Woodby back there at base for the final time? Down the back straightaway, into corner number 3. There's the move in a trailer. Around goes Drucker. They're going to drag race back to the line. Woodby's in the fence. There goes Luttrell. Here comes David Trailer down and out of 4. He will pick up the checkered flag. David Trailer across the line in position number 1 will win this race in a chaos-filled afternoon. You knew it had to end that way. What in the world did we just witness? What a run and what a race. And the chaos continued right down to the final corner here this evening as David Trailer will celebrate this win. I'm sure he did not want to win it that way, but as you see, unfortunately here, Clinton Woodby and Drucker, both trucks absolutely destroyed. Parked up together against the outside fence there. Drucker's going to get rolling here. He's going to try to get it across the line. Look at this thing crab walking here. Back down to the start-finish line this afternoon. The rear end is absolutely completely twisted. It looks like he's going to show his displeasure to our race winner, David Trailers. We'll take a look back. We'll take a look and see what happened at it because, man, this is a big move, man. It looks like Trailer's not even going to celebrate. He's not going to do a burnout there. Pulled up to the front straightaway, grabbed that checkered flag. We'll take it right down into victory lane. I mean, no one wants to win that way. Unfortunately, though, I mean, that's kind of how it happens. I mean, we see it in dirt track racing almost every single night of the summer. We see it in NASCAR racing all the time. The bump and run. Honestly, you don't want to wreck a guy. You don't want to destroy a guy. But to try to win a race, to make a move, have that shot, have that opportunity, you know, a lot of those drivers are always going to take it. And unfortunately there, I mean, Trailer took it. He took his shot. He wanted to find victory lane. And obviously, he made the move. I mean, let's take a look at it. See what kind of happened here is down the back straightaway. Trailer gets a great run out of corner number 4. He's able to carry a lot of speed, a lot of momentum down the back straightaway. He clears Steven Luttrell, so he's got the inside lane open right here. He jumps down to the inside of Drucker. Drucker moves down. He wants the inside. He's trying to throw that block here as well on the 54. David was able to kind of just squeeze his nose in there. But obviously with the 56 coming down, the 54 coming down, it has to make the corner still himself. That's where the contact's made. Gets into that left rear. Unfortunately, it just shoots the 56 right around. Backs it up into the outside fence there. Big hit for him. And then the chaos continues down through corner number 3 and 4 as David Trailer, I mean, lit out the throttle there. Obviously trying not to continue to get tied up himself in this, but also trying not to get completely ran over by Steven Luttrell. I thought Luttrell, maybe Matt Hayden, were going to be right there to try to steal this top spot away from that 54 ride, but then right here, you're going to see Matt Hayden. Let's see if we get another look here. There's Hayden. So Hayden, 3 wide kind of here as Clinton Woodby pokes his nose into the middle. Things tighten up. Luttrell comes up off the bottom. 92 right into the 5. They get tied together. Bente's right there. Woodby just up the racetrack, tied together with that 36. They get up into the outside fence. Then Luttrell's around. He ends up into the fence. Hayden still trying to catch it, trying to keep pointing the right direction. And then everyone else just going to drag race back down to the line as the 48 rider, Brendan McNutt right here. Looks like our third place driver is going to drive through the 48 ride. So, I mean, even if you're battling for 5th or you're battling for the race lead, you're going to make some crazy moves here on that final lap. And right there, 69, big run, gets in the back end of 48, turns him around in 4. The 69 ride is able to take that run that he had, and he's able to beat the 11 of Eric Hegdal back down across the line right there to steal position number 3. Now, it was super, super tight there between those two drivers. My timing has the 69 finishing in front of the 11 ride. We'll see if iRacing also has, yes, it does have them right there. I mean, that is tight finish there between those two, as Jesse Weiss does come home in 3rd, but it's all David Trailer here in this one. As Harrison Crosby says, hey, my best finish yet and most interesting start, thanks to all my buddies who tuned in. Yeah, definitely a very, very interesting start, a crazy finish. Wild race here this evening. And if you guys enjoyed that racing action and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the thumbs up button on the stream right now. Hit that like on the broadcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family. Here 2 days, we'll get ready to pull our race winner, David Trailer, up and in to the broadcast booth here this evening, man. Trailer with the dub. Let's get him up here. Let's see what he's got to say about how things got played out here late in this race. Is David sitting pit side? Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, David, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, what's going on?
Not much, David, man. What a run. What a race for you here tonight, man. Take us back through this one. It's obviously chaos here all night long. A lot of yellow flags, a lot of beating and banging, battling, just tight, hard racing here at Las Vegas. And obviously it comes right down to the very end there. A short run to the checkered flag. Big move, a little contact there between you and the 56, a trucker. Unfortunately, no one wants to win a race like that, but you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, man. Pay windows open. You want that top spot. You want the dub as badly as anybody else. And obviously there's contact made there. But take us back through it here from the start. How was your night kind of going here, as we saw a lot of issues for pretty much everybody here throughout this race?
Yeah, that was definitely that was definitely a race of attrition. I knew that Las Vegas kind of produces pack racing, but the track was kind of weird tonight. It was pretty loose in clean air, and obviously super tight in dirty air. So you kind of had this weird mix of guys who were loose, guys who were tight, going up the track, going down the track. So that causes a lot of cautions, like you saw. It's tough. I mean, I'm just as guilty. I'm involved in a couple, but overall, I don't know. We kind of got tangled up early with somebody there, and then just tried to stay clean. Yeah, just go from there. Like you said, I don't want to win it that way. I knew he was gonna throw a block. He did it the lap prior, coming off the corner, and I gave him grace because we weren't on the white flag lap yet. And this time I knew I had the right run. Got my nose down there just in time, and you know, the rest is kind of history. But yeah, overall, glad I was able to kind of survive. I'm not sure if the win's going to stand yet. It depends on post-race review, but no, a pretty good run regardless.
Yeah, pretty solid run. A very exciting race. A crazy one here tonight. Caught me off guard as the race info had said 160 laps, and luckily enough, someone in the chat goes, "Is that right? It says 7 laps to go," and I was like, "What? What?" So I had to double check it there, and yeah, you guys shortened the race here a little bit, and just kind of built into the craziness late in this race. I was wondering why was everyone battling so hard there with so many laps left to go? But now it makes a little bit more sense as we were into our, final 20, final 30 laps of this race. So the intensity just continued to ramp up there after, what was our longest green flag run of this race. I mean, it was great to see kind of a good long stint there, the green flag pit stops, and seeing you guys kind of click a lot of these laps off there throughout the middle portion of this race. But obviously we knew that craziness was just moments away, and we saw it there all night long, and obviously throughout the start, throughout the finish, and here at the end, you're able to, hang on to it there. I thought for certain we'd see maybe, Stephen Luttrell, who was right there, man, Hayden around the outside, be able to kind of carry that momentum a little bit more than you after the contact, steal the win nonetheless still from you, but unfortunately, they still got tangled up back behind you, and it just allowed you to kind of roll into corner number 4 with no pressure to your back bumper and cruise across the line here in the top spot.
Yeah, they're coming to they're on the white flag lap. I saw a 36. Coming to the white, I knew I had to have a good 3 and 4. If I wanted to have any chance on the last lap, I needed to pretty much hit 6 consecutive corners. It was going to take a full lap of momentum to get there. And I think he got a little checked up on the bottom. I know the 56 was blocking pretty hard. And when I saw that, that kind of allowed me to kind of pull some side draft to get a really big run. But yeah, like I said, this race could have gone to really anybody. It was pretty much all about clean air. Once you got the lead, it was pretty tough to get around you, especially when we had that long run where we actually had a green flag pit stop. It's as many cautions as we had, we did go for quite some time green, but yeah, just tough. These trucks, they're super aero sensitive, and yeah, it could have fallen anybody's way with these pack races, but glad we came out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. You're able to get it done. You're able to pull yourself up here into the Las Vegas victory lane here this evening. David, who would you like to thank for another great run and great performance out there on the racetrack?
Yeah, first off, thanks to the main sponsor on the truck, QH Design. Colton and the guys over at QH are awesome supporters of mine, awesome supporter of the league. Can't thank them enough. Johnny Johnson Motorsports, Blair at the winning bid, Sonic Graphic Design, the rest of the admins for doing this. I just kind of come in here and push buttons during the race. They do all the hard work, so really appreciate them for helping me out with this league. Big thank you to you for putting the broadcast on. I love going back and watching these. I know this one's going to be pretty exciting. It's going to be interesting to hear your version of it, but yeah. And then thanks to everybody for showing up tonight. We're a little past halfway in the season, so it's really good to see 20 plus cars week in, week out here. So thank you to everybody for still showing up, and then thanks to my dad watching home and my wife for letting me do this.
Absolutely. Well, David, great run, great race, brother. Congrats again on the win here this evening, and we'll see you back out there on the racetrack again next Friday night.
Thanks, Aaron.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get up there for our race winner, David Traylor, man. David gets it done, puts himself up and into victory lane here this evening as Jesse Calloway in the chat says, good finish. Jesse Wise coming home there in third, man. Great finish there for Mr. Wise this evening as David Traylor Sr. in the chat says, pay window is open. Yep, pay window is open. Take advantage of it. Put yourself in the right place to give yourself an opportunity, and that's exactly what the 54 Ryan did, and he's able to cash in here today and pick up the checkered flag here at Las Vegas. I mean, it's Sin City for a reason. It may be a sin to make contact, rub and scrub out there on the racetrack, but here in Vegas, man, it is, everyone's gambling, everyone's taking their shot at hitting the jackpot, and here today, it's David Traylor who's able to hit that jackpot and cash out big here in Sin City. As we get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, the 28 rider, Brandon Combs. Hey, Brandon, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Brandon, man, a crazy night, a wild night here for everybody, but we saw even for yourself getting tied up in a couple of these ranks out there. Unfortunately, ended with some pretty solid front-end damage, and it seemed like there throughout that long green flag run, it was going to end up badly there for you if it stayed clean and green. But luckily enough for yourself, just prior or just after the green flag pit stops, really, we start to see these caution flags fly. And that allows you to come back down pit road, use that quick repair up, get this truck fixed up, and kind of rejoin the battle here throughout the field to try to make some moves. And late in this race, obviously, we see come down pit road back on lap 130 for this final restart. Fresh tires, and you're making some big moves. You're slicing the dice through the field. You're trying to race your way up up to a good finish, and then all of a sudden you see contact there between Trailer and your teammate Drucker, and a bunch of other drivers end up getting parked sideways and up into the outside fence right there in front of you, but you're able to keep your foot in the throttle, avoid any major contact there with those guys, and race your way up to a second place finish here this evening, man. Take us back through what's going to go through your mind here as the smoke settles here in Sin City.
Survive. I mean, it's really the only word for it that I can really say. I mean, I got damage early and was trying to fix it and stuff, and it just didn't work out. Didn't have a caution quick enough really to get the last little bit of damage fixed. So under green flag stop, I went ahead and just took the fast repair and took my first set of tires and was kind of just hoping that it stayed green just to kind of see where it played out and honestly kind of just get the race over with. I was kind of just already over it at that time. And we were able to make up a couple spots because I think there were some guys that were saving pretty hard trying to make it to the end. I was able to make it to the end, so I was kind of curious where that was going to net me out. But we ended up getting caution there with McManus sitting on the racetrack off of 4. I'm not sure what happened there. But, yeah, then we were able to slice and dice our way to get up to 6th. Had a little bit of left rear damage after missing a wreck on the front stretch. And then was really loose that next run for those couple of laps. I was just holding on for dear life, really. And couldn't really do a whole lot. And then I was like, you know what? We get another caution. I'm just going to come down, fix it, and take my last set of tires and just see if I can get back to 8th or 6th or wherever I was when I pitted. And, yeah, was able to get up to inside the top 10, coming to take the white. And I saw that they were all really packed tightly and was kind of just hope and pray we could make it through if there was a wreck, or hope that we all made it across the line, and was able to finish the race off clean. And kind of sees kind of just part of the way, and I was on the brakes hard trying to miss them guys wrecking out there in front of me, and just the momentum that I was carrying on corner entry there, keeping it to the floor, just couldn't get it slowed down enough, and got some more damage, but was able to come across the line and finish P2.
Absolutely. It will still play out nicely for you and end up with a, incredible finish here this evening from kind of where you're sitting there, midway and pretty much, 80% of the way through this race. But the chaos, the carnage out there, the craziness just continued right down to that final corner here this evening. You park it up on the podium here. Did you ever think, throughout that long green flag run that, you know what, I still got a chance to come home second in this race, or maybe even have a chance to win it if Trailer may have ended up getting turned there as well?
No, there's that thought never crossed my mind because I was so far behind already as it was, and then I don't know if I was going to catch the guys that were having a fuel save there. And, I mean, I think it was Hayden who was leading at the time when the caution came out, but I was only like 5 seconds ahead of him after I already unlapped myself. So, I don't know. It might have played out to where I might have finished in the top 5 possibly, but we'll never know now.
Absolutely, we will never know, but here in this one, you do park it up in position number 2. An incredible rebound, just sticking with it, not giving up, and you get paid off for it here tonight as you park the 28 right back up onto the podium into that second spot. Brandon, who would you like to thank for another great run and great race out there on the Speedway?
Yeah, just got to say a huge thanks to all the FTM boys over there in Discord watching the stream and checking it out. I'm sure one of them might have said a couple things in the live chat, so it's pretty cool seeing them guys support me and come over and watch it and stuff and hang out, and hopefully they enjoy your broadcast of it. I know it's a little bit of a chaotic shit show tonight, but that's all right. It happens when you got trucks on a 1.5 miles where the tires aren't really meaning a whole lot, but I mean, it happens. Kind of a plate race, but yeah, just gotta say thanks to them guys for all the love and support and bringing me on over there on the team, and gotta say thanks to Super Dirt Car Series and Hey Dude Shoes and Jack for the wrap on the truck, and all the guys over here in the league with Black Betty Racing. Bam Balam. Able to come away with another P2. Good points day, so I'll take it, that's for sure, and glad to get out of Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of drivers with that same sentiment here this afternoon. Brandon, congratulations on the great run, the second place drive here this evening. We can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Friday night and see if we can park this 28 ride right back up and into victory lane.
Yeah, that's the hope. And I'd also like to say thanks to all the guys in the background in the league and taking care of it and giving us a place to come race. And you as well as always giving us the broadcast to go back and watch and look at it and check it out and stuff. So greatly appreciate it. And thanks to all the guys involved.
Absolutely, brother. Always our pleasure. Brandon, enjoy the rest of your night and congrats again on the third place or second place run here today.
Yep. Thank you, sir. You have a good one as well.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Brandon Combs. Great run, great drive there for the 28 ride, man. That is perseverance at its finest right there. Sticking with it, as Aaron Brown in the chat says, woo, go Combs. Good run right there. Good run, good recovery, man. I mean, just sticking with it, not giving up, and ends up with a really, really good finish here this afternoon. Great points day still for the 28 ride, where he may have been, he may have gave up early on and could have ended up, getting nothing out of it, but he stuck with it. Gets paid off for it out there on the racetrack, as Aaron Brown says. Combs, #1 fan. He's his #1 fan. Well, I'm glad that his #1 fans in here cheering him on and enjoying Brandon Combs getting some great finishes out there on the racetrack. As we get ready to pull in now our third place finisher, the 69 ride in the Shitty Coolers machine. It's Jesse Wise who comes home in third. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey Jesse, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not much, Jesse, man. Incredible finish here for you, man. But that was a bit of a wild one all night long. We say kind of get tangled up here in a couple different issues, a couple different incidences. Some of them, obviously nowhere to go. Drivers just pile in front of you, and they just end up on your lap there. So you ended up having to make, a few trips down pit side, getting this truck repaired, getting back into the battle, and trying to just keep yourself in it. And luckily enough, you did that all night long, where here as the chaos ensues on the final lap, you're able to kind of see the seas part, and you make some moves, and you work your way across the line, just inches ahead of Eric Hegdal for the podium run here this afternoon, man. Take us back through what's kind of going through your mind after 135 laps of craziness here in Las Vegas.
Well, this is kind of one of them Ricky Bobby moments that it's been so long that I've been in a broadcast booth. I don't really know what to do with my hands at this point. We had a lot of damage to repair. We brought it down 3 times, had to use the fast repair on the second one. And then right before we had about 10 to go, I had to bring it back down and do about a minute and a half of repair. And then at the last caution, I put on a new set of tires, and I was like, I'm just going to let them rip. And that's what I did.
Absolutely. Let her rip, gave it everything you got, and you get paid off for it with a really good, solid top 3 performance here this evening. Did you think throughout this race that, you would have had a shot that here at the end of this race, you'd be up here in the broadcast booth with the third place run?
No, not at all. I thought about lap 95, I thought about just giving up, honestly. But I'm glad I stuck with it, and I'm glad I'm back up here.
Absolutely, man. Hey, it was kind of the same sentiment there out of the 28 ride as Combs. I mean, he had a lot of damage. He was falling way behind there with the damage still on that race truck prior to some of these late race caution flags starting to fly. So, I mean, for both of you, I mean, you just got to be in the right place at the right time here late in this race. You were both able to come out of it with, incredible finishes on the night from, both of you being at that same point of, maybe giving up. There may be no point or no shot that you guys were going to be up here this afternoon, but things just play out perfectly for you here in those closing laps.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I was there. I'm glad I was there when it counted.
Absolutely, and you park this Shitty Coolers ride back up onto the podium here, man, after an incredible race, an incredible run, a crazy one here for everyone, and now that you're back up here, enjoying your Ricky Bobby moment, being able to, get one of these post-race interviews again, Jesse, who would you like to thank for an incredible run and an incredible performance out there on the racetrack?
First and foremost, I'd like to thank my smoking hot wife, my parents, everybody that's been there through this with me, my teammates, and you for broadcasting.
Always my pleasure, brother. It's always great to see you out there on the racetrack, giving it your all, and good to see you finally be able to get kind of paid off here again with a good finish and a good performance out there, parking this 69 ride up and on the podium in position number 3 here this evening. Hopefully, many, many more trips here on the season for yourself up into the broadcast booth. Maybe this will, light a bit of a fire underneath of you. Maybe more and more trips and some momentum being built up for the 69 ride and team, and maybe more trips up here, into the booth, maybe even into victory lane here throughout the season.
I hope so.
Absolutely, brother. Well, enjoy it here tonight. Congrats on the 3rd place run, and we'll see you back out there on the racetrack again next Friday night.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Jesse Wise. As Wise comes home in position number 3, man. Solid run, great drive, great performance there for that Shitty Coolers number 69 machine of Jesse Wise. Man, that was a crazy race. A lot of chaos, a lot of carnage, a lot of back and forth, a lot of ups and downs for drivers all night long here. But, man, they put on an incredible show for us, man. Each and every one of these drivers, we can't thank enough for, showing up and showing out here tonight, man. I mean, a lot of guys probably could have given up, exited this race early on. Unfortunately, we did see Rooster Rodden not be able to complete the race here this evening. But for pretty much everybody else, they were able to complete majority of the laps here today. Stick with it, stay in the battles, keep on fighting, and all night long just putting together a great race for us, and it made for some great fun, some great action, and a crazy finish here for all of us to enjoy here today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys love that show, and if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit the thumbs up button on the stream for us, hit the like button on the broadcast, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and make sure you guys turn the bell notifications on, as we'll be back up in the broadcast booth again tomorrow night for another amazing race, another crazy performance. Hopefully not as crazy as tonight. Hopefully a little bit more cool, calm, and collected. Now we are heading to Watkins Glen International tomorrow night in the Premium Stock Car Racing League for another playoff race there in that series. So it may get a little bit wild there. It may get a little bit crazy. I'm sure we'll see a lot of off-track excursions and a lot of ups and downs for drivers there in that one, but should be a lot of fun to see what the Premium Stock Car Racing League can do there back on the road course tomorrow night. But thank you for watching here tonight. Huge shout out to all of our amazing sponsors here with the Full Throttle Outlaws Racing League, and a huge shout out to all of you guys tuning in and showing the love here this evening. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, man. We'll see you all back here tomorrow night. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
The grips a gamble, tires squeal, hearts race. This leads to scandal. Full throttle, no brakes, chasing that checkered. Drafted lines tighter than a bank teller's ledger. Turn 4 is a monster, jaws wide like a gator. Pit stop, quick cruise, move sharp as a razor. Adrenaline pumps, veins fuel injected. Outlaws on the track, chaos perfected. Full throttle kings, we don't slow down. Ripping through the night, owning this town. Gas to the floor, the crowd gets loud. Outlaws racing, we're born unbound. Smoke trails, girl, exhaust whisper secrets. Victory's a beast, only the brave can keep it. Paint jobs flash, sponsors on the side. Egos collide, steal of pride. Oval dreams where legends ignite. Green flag drops, sparks kiss the night. This ain't a hobby, this a gladiator's grind. Racing's the religion, speed's the shrine. Bump traps, link shot, rival in my sights. One wrong move, you're kissing the lights.